Hi, I'm Nadia Combs, Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools. We serve more than 200,000 students. That includes children in preschool through adults in our workforce program.
I'm Henry Shake Washington, the Board Vice Chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of more than 24,000 people working at nearly 250 sites across the county.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to email or meet with any of our board members and follow our district on social media. Board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum Cable Channel 635 and Frontier Cable Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They're posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students, every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we're making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of February 8, 2022 is called to order. Member Washington will now lead us in a moment of silence, followed by a pledge of allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
We have 2 withdrawn items today. 601, piggyback, computer hardware, software supplies and services, and 603, piggyback, dental supplies. I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray, and I have a second by Member Washington. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Let the record reflect that all board members are present in the boardroom or by remote. We have 2 sets of minutes to be approved today, January 18, 2022 school board workshop and January 25th, 2022 school board meeting. I need a motion to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Member Hahn and I have a second by Member Vaughn. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. It passes unanimously. Board members, I'd like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we're a nonpartisan board who believe that all children can be empowered to learn to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient and effective agenda statements and/or questions, board members will have 3 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have further questions, you're asked to get back in the queue. Member Washington will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon meeting, let me quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed caption on live webcast, on cable television, and on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also can be viewed closed caption in the online video archive.
Thank you. We have one item scheduled for time certain. That's 6 p.m. We have employee input. We will now move to the public comment. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed about your responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. However, it is requested when you address the board comments are not directed personally against a board member or staff member, but rather directed at issues. Any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. Our civility policy is in place. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see a light on the lectern. A red light and a chime will indicate the time is up. We will now begin with our public comments. Our first speaker, please.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Catherine Salagi. First, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. National Choice School Week was recently celebrated, and I came today to share how fortunate I am to be an educator at the CSUSA Charter School, Henderson Hammock Charter School to be exact. I transferred to Florida almost 4 years ago. Since joining the CSUSA Henderson Hammock Charter School, my overall experience has been amazing. The staff, parents, and the student have all welcomed me with open arms. Principal Tirado and Associate Principal Romanoff are well versed in their roles, supportive, and they're always encouraging staff and students to go one more round. Henderson goes the extra mile by partnering with Avid and helping our students become more college ready. In my time at Henderson, I've seen students grow in confidence and discuss their future options about college and beyond life. I have no doubt that our Henderson Hawks will fulfill their destinies and make their mark in this world. As a parent myself, if my children were younger, I would enroll my children into Henderson Hammock, where the environment is loving, supporting, and a place the student can call home away from home. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. You can sit right there. Gabby, over here.
Good afternoon, Paula Castano. Have you heard of the ham story? There was a daughter that always cut the ends of the ham off, and they asked her why she did that. And she said, well, because my mom did it. So they went to the mom and said, why do you cut the ends of the ham off? And she said, well, my mom did it. So they went to the grandma, asked her why she cut the ends of the ham off, and she said, well, my pan was too small. I had to have my ham fit in the pan when I put it in the oven. What's the moral of that story? People keep doing the same thing, even though something different needs to be done. What does this story have in common with the state of Florida? Everything. This board, the school boards across the state, the parents in all the Florida counties can't keep doing the same thing. The Florida Department of Education and politicians in Tallahassee are killing us, as my husband would say, his famous quote, Addison, death by 1,000 cuts. Let's follow the money. And you can find this all on open source because you know I like to research things. Next year's progress monitoring starts in pre-K, takes place 3 times throughout the year. And the vendor, NWEA, is a cash cow that even Seattle and Chicago have ditched. NWEA's chief of staff, Samantha, and I'm going to butcher her name, Muchachia, has ties to Foundation for Florida's Future, a 501c4. Guess who's the trustee? Former legislator and owner of our external operator, MGT. That's right, board, Trey Trevesa. So let's review. The state is making taxpayers pay $15 million for a test tied to their pockets. What do I say to this? No. Parents across the state, opt out of this test. Look for the Opt-Out Network and the Stop Overtesting Florida Facebook sites. You can opt out of this test. The state should fully fund this mandate and take away all end-of-course exams. Let's follow more money. $71 million funding loss for fiscal year 2022-2023 with all the new charter school enrollments. A minimum loss of $10 million more with a decline in the Hillsborough virtual enrollment. Do you see what's happening? Do you see what the state is intentionally doing to us? Congratulations, Hillsborough County set a national record with 25 magnet schools of merit. Why isn't that all over the news? Because we aren't the cash cow. Board, don't be the ham story. Don't let the state slowly choke us out of our own money. Create a new, different path. Band with school boards across the state and take a stand against Goliath. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Patricia Hall. Our genius Governor DeSantis and his corrupt minions are now changing testing in Florida because they are testing experts. Pushing for MAP, Measured Academic Progress from NWEA, Northwest Evaluation Association. This process has been called all show and no go by some who have used it. To equate a child's future success in life to whether they are achieving and learning at the same rate as their peers is inappropriate and potentially harmful. Equality and equity are not the same things. A more holistic approach, including portfolios of children's work, would be more fair, particularly with the third grade automatic failure red line. Another angle, as Paula mentioned, the Chief of Staff of NWEA is Samantha Muscachia, Policy and Advocacy Intern for none other than Jeb Bush's Foundation of Florida, also known as Foundation for the Florida Future, a 501c3 founded by Jeb. A tangled web of money connections, including Trey Traviesa, trustee for Jeb. Trey was most recently in the news as an education bid rigger with Richard the Nasty Corcoran as they tried to sneak an RFP for Trey's MGT through to further damage Jefferson County schools. Taken over by Academica's charter arm 4.5 years ago, how did the all-charter school county go? They failed. More charter renewals in Hillsborough County. How many new buildings and consolidations has Tim Kilpatrick milked the federal and state budgets for with his musical chairs like charter schools in Riverview? How many has he opened? How many has he consolidated? Who knows? If you attempt to deny renewals of any of these others, watch out for Republican legislators with pockets full of charter money not educating children. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Bradley Warren. I come before you in gratitude and optimism because I am the proud principal of Waterset Charter School in Apollo Beach, Florida. And I want to thank you today for your partnership over the last 5 years as we grew from a fledgling K through 6 C-rated new school to the dynamic and incredibly diverse K through 8 A-rated school for 1,145 learners and leaders. With a wait list at every grade level, and some of whom came to share their voice with you today. So I thank you for that partnership. I also want to thank the renewal team who came to visit Waterset. They were incredibly professional. They were incredibly thorough. And when they looked at our evidences of success, the word they used was impeccable, and I could not disagree with them. I also want to thank, as you may know, board members, our stakeholders, because we survey them twice a year, all of our parents, students, and staff. And we are humbled by the radiant ratings that they give us, which are some of the highest in our organization across 5 states and more than 100 schools. And optimism, because I don't want you to think for a minute that we're going to rest on our laurels. We have a phrase at Waterset that says you don't have to be bad to get better. We have every intention of continuing to get better every single day. And with your partnership, we look forward to the next 5 years of serving our students in Hillsborough County with integrity and distinction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, members of the school board. My name is Nico Salas. I'm in 8th grade and I go to Waterset Charter School. Even though I only moved here from Miami in September, 5 weeks into the school year, I was welcomed with open arms and quickly made friends as I swiftly transitioned from the weird new Cuban kid to another successful student at the school. For example, on my first day at PE, I asked a group of kids if I could play football with them. At my old school, students would have said no and made rude comments about the strange new face staring back at them. Yet surprisingly, at Waterset, it's different. At first, they tried to come up with an excuse like, oh, the teams are full, until one student said, let's let the new kid play so he doesn't feel left out. This small act of kindness made me feel better about leaving my old friends behind and starting anew. The communal school feel is a completely new concept for me, one in which I'm foreign to. I'm a big city public school kid. However, I truly feel like I'm getting a quality education, which will serve me well in my future. Waterset truly has a different feel compared to the traditional public school. For example, the faculty took notice that I could handle a rigorous academic schedule, so my principal swiftly switched my schedule and allowed me to take 2 math classes. This would not have happened at my old school. All my teachers have given me a chance to adapt and truly join the class without feeling left behind because of the 5 weeks that I missed. Overall, Waterset Charter truly provides an alternative public school experience for students like me who need a nurturing community school environment to ease my move and foster my motivation to learn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Julie Gebhards, and I'm back again because of my great concern for the welfare of our kids as it relates to the issue of the explicit content in our schools. My heart breaks today because currently the flowery covered book Felix Ever After is checked out by a Potter Elementary student. This book contains 66 F-bombs. It takes 1 to 2 to elevate a movie to an R-rated movie, and this is checked out currently by a student, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old, who knows. Also, I quote from the book, "I can feel him, feel his heart-on, which both scares the shit out of me and sends a thrill through me as I press against him, tugging on his shirt. Oh my effing God." There's more, but I'll leave that out. It's been a bit of a journey through the last 9 months or so with me coming to these meetings. First, the outrage of the bluest eye with the pedophile describing his encounters with little girls. Then the discovery of so many more books, the count increases daily. I've read 2 portions of books that attempt to normalize oral sex between children, as in Lawn Boy. I've shown you images from graphic novels, including masturbation and boys peeing on each other from the book titled Blankets. The casual nature of all sorts of encounters, sexual, drugs, alcohol, they're on our shelves by the thousands. Again, what about the welfare of our children? So today I turn in a little bit of a different direction philosophically and ask you, do you remember your first sexual encounter? The emotions, the vulnerability, the deep feeling that something had changed in you, that something had been awakened, never to sleep again. For some of us, that experience was unwelcome. It wasn't our decision, and we knew that something was horribly wrong with what had happened to us. We had an innate sense that we had been violated. For others, that encounter was by choice or maybe happened in the heat of a moment. Some regretted that choice for various reasons, and some felt deep guilt and shame. However, some others didn't feel guilt and shame, probably because they were mature enough to make that decision. And I'm sure that we can all agree that whatever our first encounter entailed, it carried with it a different kind of weight that other decisions don't carry. It's not the same as choosing a toothpaste brand, what color shirt to wear. It's much weightier than that, and oftentimes carries baggage with for the rest of our lives, impacting intimate relationships forever. Most of these books don't in any way convey this gravity or anything beautiful about the nature of sex. They steal away something beautiful like a child's innocence. Not like masturbating with a hot dog, not like depictions of drugged young teens or doggy style with a Ziploc or on a teacher's desk or with a cow. The books in our library shelves cheapen, degrade, and minimize the impact of sexual encounters. They objectify people, and mostly women and children, blurring all lines of propriety. I'm asking for you to do what you can in your realm in the schools to stop this for the welfare of our kids.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Superintendent Davis, Chairwoman Combs, and members of the board. My name is Carolyn Hardy, and I'm a parent of a 3rd and 1st grader in West Chase Elementary's dual language Spanish immersion program. I'm here today to express support for the dual language program at West Chase to include a new incoming kindergarten class for the 2022-23 school year and for continuity of the program at West Chase for those currently enrolled. This upholds both the schools and the school districts' commitment to completing 6 years in the dual language Spanish immersion program when our children began in kindergarten. According to the 2020 U.S. Census, Hispanic and Latinos make up nearly 20% of West Chase's population, with nearby school zip codes up to 50% in areas that are zoned for a neighborhood middle school, Davidson. I am confident that through greater administrative support to draw upon both West Chase and areas nearby with flexibility in the program structure and with increased marketing efforts, we can continue a successful dual language program at West Chase. The dual language program at West Chase is a source of pride for the students and the families who committed to it. We are forever grateful to the administration and the dedicated teachers who support this program's mission to foster a global competence and appreciation for a multicultural society and our children. This is needed now more than ever, given our country's division. As President John F. Kennedy said, children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. I encourage the school board, the dual language supervisor, and West Chase's administration, families, and community partners to commit to this program's continued success. The children of West Chase Dual Language Spanish Immersion Program are counting on you to uphold your end of this commitment and ensure this program's continued success at West Chase. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Davis, Chairwoman Combs, and members of the board. I'm Emily Chase Sosnoff. I'm like Carolyn Hardy. I'm also the parent of a 1st grader and an incoming kindergartner at West Chase Elementary School. And I'm here today to express my continued support for West Chase Elementary's dual language immersion program to include both a new incoming kindergarten class for next school year, as well as continuation of the program for those who are currently enrolled. Research shows that learning a second language provides cognitive and linguistic benefits in both languages. My daughter is a testament to the success of this program. When she started kindergarten 18 months ago, she didn't know a word of Spanish. Now she's singing Spanish songs, doing math problems in Spanish, and even reading and understanding Spanish picture books. It's absolutely incredible to watch. Programs like this one are what sets Hillsborough County Public Schools apart. In 10 to 20 years, our dual language students will be entering the workforce with international opportunities that were closed to so many of us because we're not bilingual. When asked how they learned to speak Spanish so fluently, these students will credit Hillsborough County Public Schools. When we applied to this program, we were asked to commit to 6 years of dual language immersion education for our children. We are committed to fulfilling our promise. Now we encourage the school board, the dual language supervisor, and West Chase Elementary administration, families, and community partners to commit to this program's continued success. Bilingualism is a lifelong gift. It's a gift that I cannot give to my children alone, but together we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. Superintendent Davis, Ms. Combs, Mr. Washington, board members, I commend you all on the job that you do. You have a most difficult job, and I respect and I honor you for taking on this mantle. Today, I'm here simply to ask you to do something that makes good sense. I graduated class of 1968, Howard W. Blake Senior High School. Mrs. Dorothy C. York, Dr. Dorothy C. York, was my homeroom teacher and my English teacher. It is my understanding that you all are considering names for new schools. I would like for you to consider her name. She was a very dedicated teacher during a time when things were quite trying. We were still going through the throes of segregation, and we eventually moved on to integration, and she was one of our great teachers. She never gave you a break. She made you work hard, and I am one of the end results of her labors. I went on to become a draftsman with the City of Tampa Traffic Engineering section. My name appears on the building plans of this building. I later became a deputy with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. I retired as a corporal, supervising 22 deputies. I served for 26 years. I am a property owner, and I am a taxpayer. When I went to school, I could name every school in Hillsborough County. I understand that there are more than 300 now. You all have done a wonderful job of keeping us in the forefront of education. Our kids need education. This month, the month of February, is the Black History Month. It would be a shame that a person that has done so much for this county and for so much for this school board should be ignored and not given the opportunity to have a school named after her. It would be an honor. I thank you for your consideration. God bless and keep you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, school board. I'm Alexa Ringo, and I'm in 7th grade, and I have been going to Waterset Charter since the day it opened its doors. Each year, I had one teacher or coach help me develop a skill or ability and then give me an opportunity to use it in a way that would help the school or other students. This made me feel confident and gave me ownership in my school's success. For example, I helped classmates with their math work where I was like an in-class tutor, and I was also chosen to help the first graders learn how to read. When I started getting good at audio-visual presentations, my teacher gave me the job of filming the school's morning announcements. And this year I was selected to be the editor-in-chief of the school's newspaper, and am now on the yearbook committee. In most of my classes since 3rd grade, I had public speaking presentations to prepare me to speak in front of a crowd like this. Waterset Charter gives its students a lot of options for extracurricular activities as well, where we learn teamwork, leadership, and confidence. I'm personally on the cheer team, but they also offer football, volleyball, and hockey. You can join band or chorus, student council, and this year they started the National Junior Honor Society program. Another cool thing about Waterset Charter is that I'm already earning high school credits, and I'm only in 7th grade. And I'll be able to earn more high school credits in 8th grade. This will prepare me really well for the charter high school I'm hoping to go to, where I can start earning college credits. I want to be an orthopedic surgeon, so the more free school I can get, the better. So to sum it up, Waterset Charter, its teachers, staff, and coaches allow students to explore their interests and talents and also prepare them for the world beyond 8th grade. I feel lucky to be a part of this school.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Nicoya, and I am a teacher at Waterset Charter. And my former students so eloquently spoke about our school. Leadership lives in Waterset. I get to display that every day when I teach engaged citizenship. I know it for certain because we do teach how to speak in front of crowds and not feel inferior, as well as we teach our students to be leaders. And this is my little leader, and she is a cheerleader as well as a student here at Waterset. So would you like to say something?
My name is Savannah, and I like to learn in Waterset, and I like to come to school and do cheer, learning math and reading, and all kinds of learning and I love to learn.
So, as the student said, leadership is definitely at Waterset, and we appreciate the help that you guys give us and allowing us to be able to create future leaders for the next generation to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. Hello, Superintendent and distinguished school board members. Thank you very much for having us all here today. I'm Brandy Tackett. I'm the campus director at Kids Community College Southeast Elementary and Middle Schools. We are a fully authorized international baccalaureate school, and we service the needs of students in the Tropical Acres area. We are just here today to say, on behalf of Kids Community College Charter School, thank you to RSL for the facilitation of all of our communication through our charter renewal. We also wanted to thank our charter office for all the support that they've given us. It is a very in-depth process, and we appreciate the opportunity to make sure that what we are doing is in the best interest of learners. And most importantly, we want to thank the school board members that are here today for the time that you have taken in understanding what it is that we do every day for learners. We look forward to the board's review and approval of our charter reauthorization and our consolidation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
First off, thank you for having me here. My name is Quincy Reentz. I'm currently a freshman at Leonard High School, and prior to this, I spent my entire middle school years going to Waterset Charter School. I was being nurtured, encouraged, and inspired by all the caring and committed staff at Waterset in Apollo Beach. As a student with ADHD, my journey through 6th and 8th grade was a pretty challenging one. But the workers, guidance counselors, and especially Mr. Warren, our amazing principal, it worked closely with me and my family to make sure I overcame my hurdles and succeeded in a creative way. I was never just another statistic or just another student number there. I was given all the necessary tools that I needed to succeed and do well. When I was out of school for a week and in the hospital, I wasn't able to do all my schoolwork, so all my grades plummeted. But when I came back, they gave me everything that I needed to go from D's and F's to making the honor roll at the end of the year, which was absolutely amazing. Yeah. Waterset offered me many opportunities to mature and develop confidence to better prepare my transition into high school, where I currently am right now. I was taught how to cope with and work through my social anxiety by facing it and going to a quiet place when I needed it to regroup and just be able to calm down, get back on track, and then go straight back in to do well. Eventually, I was assisting with delivering morning announcements with like when they started doing it on video, and I even made a song for the end of the year, which I really enjoyed doing. I will continue to build on the substantial lessons that I learned at Waterset, as they provided me with a path to grow academically and emotionally as a leader among my peers. I have no doubt that countless other students will come along into the school and be treated the same way by all the amazing teachers that are there at the school to help them build their career in the future and just be set to do well. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you to all who have chosen careers to dedicate themselves in educating the youth of America. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, people of the school board. My name is Ella Alexander. I'm in 8th grade, and I go to Waterset Charter School. When I was given this opportunity to speak about why I love going to Waterset, so many things rushed to my mind, but they were just trivial things wrapped around one big reason. The reason I love going to Waterset is because of the people. I'm continually impressed by how well the teachers know their students, and the students do not hesitate to show their leadership. Going through COVID and having so many problems, like being understaffed, complications with grades, and so much more, has not put a stop to the teachers' positivity and the students' happiness. When I was younger, at my old school, I had some problems with fitting in with the other kids. It was not a good environment for me to be really myself. At Waterset, I can proudly say I do not have that problem anymore, and I have never been happier with who I am and who I've grown to be. Yes, I can be a tad odd, but that's how I and others have fun. I have found a group of people, well, probably about every student here, that do not make me feel like a weird 13-year-old girl. They make me feel happy and feel like I belong and allow me to express what I am thinking without being judged. It is also not just the students who make me, and many others feel this way. It's also the teachers. These teachers do not hesitate to check on their students when they can tell when something is wrong. They grow an understanding and a personal relationship with all of their students. There have been so many stressful days throughout the year and other years I have been here, but these educators always come with a contagious smile on their face, and they light up the whole room. The type of environment that Waterset has with its students and its teachers promotes relationships and positivity for these kids to grow on and use in their everyday lives. Waterset prepares these students academically and emotionally for the real world. Every day when I wake up, it's not like a usual student would say, "Mom, I don't want to go to school." You see, I really enjoy seeing these students and these teachers and talking about the next test or what their weekend plans are. When coming to this school, I never expected to be so drawn in on everything and creating these beautiful relationships with every single person at the school. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, school board. My name is Jeremiah Cawthon. I'm going to try and do this in 3 minutes, and it's really hard because there's a lot of history here that goes before my comment that I'm about to say. It was made aware to me through my children that the Black National Anthem was being played in their school. That's fine. Let's talk about it. Let's have an open discourse. Why is it here? Why has it come to be? Why do people feel that we need to play this? Now, what's important, though, when we talk about all that is we also have to discuss the historical significance of the man who wrote the national anthem, or the song that / poem, defense of Fort McHenry, right? So this man was a staunch abolitionist, Francis Scott Key. He stood for many years. He was born into one of the worst things we've ever done in this country, which was slavery, right? I think we all agree. However, he freed his slaves. He did everything he could to help. And then on top of that, he was an abolitionist. He went into the South for men who were taken into slavery, into the bonds of slavery, and defended them. And so when we talk about the Black National Anthem, we have to discuss all facets. We need to talk about Francis Scott Key, his life, because people have a problem with the third stanza, right? Because the third stanza says neither the hireling nor the slave. Now, there's a lot of language that goes into that in the time that it was written, which it was written during the War of 1815. And at that time, the British were taking American sailors off of ships and putting them into, indentured servitude or slavery on their ships. And also, the British came in and said, listen, if you fight for us, then you will be free, which the British lied. They subsequently said 100,000 African Americans in this country who would fight against the Americans in the Revolution and other wars. They came forward and they decided, well, we're only going to free 5,000, not 95,000 that they sold back into slavery. So really, we need to discuss everything that's happened here. If we're going to bring something new into the school for our children to digest, something that is very socially dynamic and complex, I think we have to point to the man and the content of his character who wrote the national anthem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Hart. I am a third grade teacher in Hillsborough County, but I'm speaking during public comment this evening. Thank you for letting me speak. I am also a parent of a student in Hillsborough County and, hey, a member of the public. So as all of those things today, I would like to discuss teacher pay. I am totally aware that the statement is there's not room for teacher step pay in the budget, and I believe you, but many teachers do not. When they see all of these other expenditures being approved, they think to themselves, why is there money for this, but there's not for teacher pay? Why are teachers always last on the list? Why are teachers always bottom of the barrel? And I guarantee you they take it personally. There's an affordable housing crisis in our area right now and mass inflation. I know teachers who are single mothers who receive government assistance to barely scrape by. I know staff and faculty who are becoming roommates. We are often busy paying off student loans we racked up to become a teacher in the first place and can now barely pay our increasing bills. So please, 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 As you go into bargaining tomorrow, consider what can we do for teachers. Many of us do need actual real financial help. There are, as you know, already barely enough resources to get by at schools, and teachers are really what's holding all of this together. So many are going to leave this district because they don't feel appreciated, or they can't make ends meet, or probably both. So if step pay, which mind you is not really even enough to be a cost of living increase, is not on the table, then my suggestion would be to encourage you to be, and these lovely people back here, to be more open and being able to explain the budget to teachers and why that is. Maybe we could figure out how to problem solve. Can we encourage teachers to call their representatives in state Congress and ask for more per pupil spending money? Can we tell people, you know, hey, vote for this person, maybe not this person in the government who's passing legislation that hurts and defunds public schools? Consider what can we do to increase our funds in this at the county level, maybe like a millage. I would just love for us to be a united team to save public education. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do that if we don't have any teachers left to help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello. I realized the microphone's way too down. My name is Laura Hunstein, for anybody who doesn't actually know me, and I am a middle school counselor and board member of the Hillsborough School Counseling Association, proudly so. And this week is National School Counseling Week, and so I'm going to just highlight a few things for you and some concerns that we have. When I asked some of my colleagues what they wish people knew, their response is that they're frustrated. We're the go-to for everything. They said lunch duty, attendance issues, multiple discipline issues, which goes against our ability to be able to work with our students, failing grades, Canvas problems, coordinating testing, and often we are providing reactive services. Some admin look at counselors as a body and not an asset. And I'm not saying all admin does this, but there are admin that do. And we cover classes. We do behavioral calls, sub for absent teachers, but, you know, nobody can really sub for us. I've worked in both middle and high school settings over the past 9 years, and the demands placed on school counselors far exceed what can be reasonably done. And the tasks we have been required to complete pull our focus away from where it should be, which is on our students. We are professionals who help students emotionally, socially, academically, and with their future career or college choices. Since the start of the pandemic, students have struggled in all areas of their lives, but especially with stress and anxiety, and school counselors are the first responders for these issues. When other duties take us away from our students, our children suffer. Testing, cafeteria duty, establishing 504 meetings, teacher coverage, clerical work, creating master schedules, and serving as extra school admin are all duties that take us away from our students. For example, as a test coordinator the last few years, I lose a month both out of my office and unavailable to my students. When students come to see their school counselor and the counselor is not available, it is likely the one and only time the student was ready to reach out for help, and we may not be there for them. Especially in the current youth mental health crisis, wait times to see a therapist can be weeks, if not months. I just had some cases where it's 6 to 8 months to get in with a counselor out into the community. So school counselors serve an increasingly critical role in providing mental health services for our students by assessing students for suicide and risk to self or others. My school has performed multiple suicidal assessments this semester alone, so please keep this in mind that this is how far we're stretched as well. We save lives, but we only can save lives when we're available. Hillsborough County has 25 to 30 vacancies on average. Say there are 20 vacancies with an average caseload of 450 students, which is generous. That leaves roughly 10,000 students who are underserved by a school counselor in this county. School counselors are leaving the profession not because they don't love to help children, but because their jobs are too often not about helping their students. I appreciate your time very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, good evening, board members, staff. My name is Tina Williams-Brewster, and today I'm going to talk about leadership, or in our case, the lack thereof. Now, we all know what a good leader looks like. We know what it feels like, but I like to talk about what our students are not receiving. I have educated 6 children 3 have gone on to graduate, all have full scholarships, full rides. Let's talk about the remaining 3 that are still in Hillsborough County schools. Where should I start? Let's see. Ask yourself where you are as a leader. If your weaknesses are affecting the team, that's not a good sign, is it? Ask yourself, do you steer the team in the right direction? Are you helping them successfully? If you're concerned that you might not be, maybe it's time to re-examine what you think a leader is. Now, examples of lack of leadership, parents have rights too. Parents' voices and, more importantly, students' voices are constantly being ignored. Or when they do speak up, they're often shushed in the corner, they're retaliated against, they're singled out. But don't you worry when they go home and they advocate to mom and dad. Mom and dad are pushed off. You speak to people who are in leadership and they're supposed to do something, and the problem gets worse. Let that sink in. You reach out for people who are in leadership roles, and that's what the taxpayers, pay them for, and the problem gets worse. Calls are not returned, or I'm going to call you back, Mom, and it never happens. I am a mom. I'm not the Board of Education. I'm not an ESC coordinator. I'm not a supervisor. I'm not a counselor. But lately, I'm all this and more. Why? Because we have leaders in our schools, outside of our schools, who are doing just that, sucking up all the money that could actually be going to teachers who need it, but they're not going to the students who need it. So once again, where's the leadership in Hillsborough County? Where is it? Because I haven't seen it, and it's only getting worse. So if you're in a position a parent reaches out for help, don't send them through the maze of phone calls and, oh, like Sue, I'll call you back. But I don't. And if it weren't for me and the type of parent that I am, nothing would ever get done. And I've gone through all the channels. I'm a fighter. I keep fighting. And if I am being pushed back, what's happening to those students and parents who don't know how to push back? Sure, I've been invited to attend trainings. They're so poorly put together. Wow. If you want me to train others and yet you fail to prepare and train me in a leadership, are you really effective?
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Alan Brewster, board member, superintendent. I also want to speak about leadership. If I stand here and violate the civility policy, I will be removed from this platform and escorted out the building. What I do not understand is when a parent calls a principal about an issue in a student's classroom, and the principal gets mad and starts yelling at the parent. And then when I call an area superintendent to address the issue, I never got a return, a follow-up about this principal's behavior. How is that? That's a double standard. Where is the leadership? Where is it? You gonna ignore the parent? If I was to start cussing right here, I would be immediately put out of here. Immediately. But when the principal acts out of character, don't worry about it. How? How is that? Why? Because you think parents are nothing? My daughter comes home and she tells me about behavior issues in her 8th period 3 to 4 times a week. I call the principal to discuss the issues. He don't like what I'm saying. Address the issue. Deal with the issue so it can be a positive environment for learning. That's not just, I have several kids, 2 schools, Bing Hill and Jefferson High School. Leadership is poor. They're not making effective decisions. I've been at Jefferson High School complaining about a teacher. My daughter is on the spectrum. She's antagonizing her. She's coming home showing angry faces. So she had a meltdown. Told her, walk out of there. But yet they say, well, we talked to the teacher. What is that doing? What is it doing? This child is on the spectrum. She's on the spectrum. And then the teacher say, I didn't know. That's hogwash. You do know. We spoke to her about having positive relationships with students. Every time you do something not to follow her IEP, that's building a negative relationship. Where is the leadership?
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. I hope that I can be a little sunshine to you all today on this rainy day while I speak a little bit about my sunshine, my grandmother, Miss Aquila Mae Morgan. I'm here to address everyone and petition that the new school that's being built in Southern Hillsborough County, that will be the very first K-8, be named after my grandmother, Miss Aquila Morgan. Miss Morgan, my grandmother, taught students at Waimama Elementary for 43 years. Before Waimama, Apollo Beach, Ruskin, Gibsonton became the place that everybody wanted to live. She was there on the 2 lanes going in and coming out. I would like you all to know that my grandma inspired so many students and myself that your attitude was your altitude. She believed and she stated, she wrote out something for me to read, but I only have 3 minutes. But her main was that she embraced every student that came into her classroom. She believed that if you embraced them and let them know that her classroom was safe, that it would allow them to engage in her classroom and it would allow her to educate them. She also believed that you could do anything you put your mind to. And I believe, I've been petitioning for 5 years for her to have a school named after her because she committed herself to the area where most folks would not go to. I appreciate the a man speaking about Miss York, but I believe that this new school should have someone from the community, from the Waimama, Apollo Beach, Ruskin, Gibson, to have that school named Morgan Magnet K-8, Hillsborough County. Miss Morgan prepared the students in Southern Hillsborough that went on to change the world, to do great things, even myself, and I would love to have her receive this honor for her dedication to those students, to those families for generations and generations. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. And the final speaker this evening?
Thank you all for being here. My name is Julian Toller. I'm in 4th grade and I've been at Waterset since kindergarten. I love being at Waterset because I get to meet new friends. I like the teachers because they care about us and they look up for our future. They have helped me when I needed tutoring. Waterset has a future and I want to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that will conclude our public comment. We will now move on to the recognition and proclamations. A01, Adoption of Proclamation, Career and Technical Education Month, February 2022. Member Snively will be presenting this proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to present this proclamation, as career and technical education is very near and dear to my heart. Career and technical education in Hillsborough County Public Schools includes middle and high school students taking courses in one of over 17 career clusters. These courses are part of an overall program of study designed to prepare students to be successful in a rapidly changing workforce and equip them to make informed decisions about future college and career pathways. Hillsborough County Public Schools offers career and technical students opportunities to earn highly valued industry certifications and to develop a multitude of skills while experiencing rigorous curriculum with real-world applications. The efforts of career and technical educators stimulate the growth and vitality of our local and national economy by preparing graduates for careers that are forecast to experience the fastest growth in the next decade. Hillsborough County Public Schools is honored to partner with the local business community to offer opportunities to our CTE students, and there are many opportunities out there. Business partners are vital to the success of our career and technical education programs by offering real-world industry perspective, first-hand knowledge, and valuable internships. And excuse me while I just take a moment to say a wonderful example is Future Career Academy, of which some of us are volunteering to chaperone field trips that will take our students from various high schools, our seniors, into local businesses so that they can see the tangible opportunities that are available to them and hopefully set them forth on a very successful career path to staying in Hillsborough County and helping our economy flourish right here in the Tampa Bay region. So with that, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to announce or proclaim that February 2022 is Career and Technical Education Month.
Thank you, Member Snively. And I have a motion by Member Perez, and I have a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. AO2, Adoption of Proclamation, Student Services Week, February 7th through 11, 2022. Member Hahn will be presenting this proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm honored to read the proclamation for Student Services Week. Hillsborough County Public Schools values its student services staff for the work they do in schools to help students reach their full potential. Our student services staff are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and promote emotional well-being. Student services include health services, mental health, psychological services, school counseling, and social work services. Their daily mission is to meet students' academic, physical, and social-emotional needs. Student services staff also assist families in a crucial way. They help our families realize the importance of mental health and how to help their child develop the skills needed to live a healthy lifestyle. Student services staff also collaborate with administrators and educators to help students meet their academic, behavioral, and social-emotional goals. They also utilize community resources to enhance and assist students and families and meet their basic needs.
Thank you, Member Hahn. I need a motion and a second to approve Student Services Week, February 7th through 11th. I have a motion by Member Washington, and I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Perez. Is there any discussion? Member Gray?
Thank you, Member Hahn, for recognizing and really explaining the full throttle and the scope of our mental health. We know that our social workers, and just heard from the guidance counselor, how critical they have become more and more. And I'm so glad that this is a proclamation because they are the huge connector right now between the emergencies that are coming up and the crises that are coming forward in many ways, and they're the bridge for helping our students not only recognize what they're going through, but also to solve hopefully their problems and develop strategies. So at any rate, we thank also staff members, Addison Davis, Superintendent Davis, for recognizing those staff members, Elizabeth Tanner, Michael Kellner, and Holly Sayer also, for doing a wonderful and comprehensive job. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Perez?
Yes, reports about the rise in depression, anxiety, loneliness, trauma, and suicidal thoughts among our youth, are alarming. And the Center for Disease Control and Prevention shows that beginning April through October 2020, emergency mental health visits for ages 12 through 17 increased by 31%. And over the same period, children ages 5 through 11, it was up by 24%. And here in Hillsborough County, we now have our student services staff. They have been able to decrease the amount of Baker Acts because the teams work together that we've had. And in 2021 to 2022, we've had only 75 Baker Acts and 79 diversions. That means that our students went into counseling instead of being Baker Acted. Whereas in 2020-2021 school year, we had 106. So it shows that these teams working together, our social services teams, really work for the benefit of our students and how much we really need them here in our schools.
Thank you, Member Perez. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. A03, Adoption Proclamation, National School Counseling Week, observed February 7th through 11, 2022. Member Perez will be presenting this proclamation. Member Perez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. School counselors in Hillsborough County Public Schools are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. They are well versed in career and scholarship opportunities that would meet the needs of their students. School counselors not only interact with students, but also with parents, teachers, administrators, outside agencies, and organizations in order to provide the best educational environment and opportunities for all students. School counselors are committed partners in student achievement. School counselors also seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society.
Thank you, Member Perez. I need a motion and a second to approve National School Counseling Week, observed February 7th through 11th. I have a motion by Member Hahn, and I have a second by Member Perez. Is there any discussion? Okay. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Member Perez, for reading that proclamation. I also want to thank Laura Hottenstein, who spoke earlier. She's always an amazing advocate for our school counselors. And, you know, we always appreciate our school counselors, but I think in the past 2 years with what we faced with the pandemic and reports of growing mental health challenges and just some of the concerns, our school counselors are valued, you know, not more than ever, but more than ever, right? Because of what they've been facing and dealing with the last couple years. And I also think it's a testament to our public schools that we're able to offer these services through our counselors, that we have counselors on sites who are there to help our students with mental health challenges or navigating college choices or going on to post-secondary. So I just really want to say I appreciate this proclamation and making sure that, you know, we're letting our school counselors know how much we value them, as well as letting our community know that our public schools offer this. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Superintendent, one of the concerns that I have is that we are short-staffed in our social services department when it comes to counseling. And we have had an increase in some disruptive behavior, you know, in our schools. And as, it's been brought out that, our counseling, staff, social workers are being utilized elsewhere. And you and I had a conversation regarding this, that when it comes to addressing the mental health of our students, that we need our staff at the ready, to help our students, especially with the increase in the numbers, that we're seeing, not just here, but nationwide. So when it comes to subbing, teaching, lunch duty, how can we address that? And to fortify first, our students with the social services that they need, but also to have our staff, like I mentioned, at the ready for our students when they need them and available.
Yes, ma'am, to the chair. school counselors do a remarkable job, such as you articulated the same way that Mrs. Vaughn articulated. They continue to make themselves available for students 24/7. We know that over the last 2 years we have had a very difficult time to be able to serve our students, and everything they've gone through related to whether it's social, emotional, traumatic experiences, academic experiences, all to be able to help them and lead them to be successful. This year has been a harder year related, more complex year than last year related to COVID. We've had multiple variants that have hit our community that have transitioned through our hallways, meaning that all hands have had to be on deck this year. Whether that be a school counselor, whether that be a climate and culture lead, whether that be additional support staff, a reading coach, a math coach, an interventionist, everyone has had to take on, even district staff, more roles and responsibilities to be able just to get us through. As one of our teachers spoke today, third grade teacher Ms. Hart spoke today, we're going over and beyond. However, going back to related to the roles and responsibilities, we want to make sure that school counselors are truly there to be able to have accessibility to students, to really help them, whether it be social emotional needs, to help them academic needs, to talk about academic histories. And from a school's perspective and a school-based leadership perspective, we shouldn't be pulling them and putting them in roles and responsibilities that take them away from their duties unless it's an emergency and it's a need. So from our side of it, we'll go back and continue to work with our schools to identify how we can alleviate any additional roles and responsibilities that may be placed on them in order for them to allow them to have greater accessibility to students to allow them to be successful.
Thank you, Member Perez. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Snively, and I have a second by Member Hahn. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. The following items will now be heard. C-301, C-709, C-1001, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back because we want to make sure. I think I missed something. I'll have to go back. I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and, did you want to go ahead and do the administrative appointments?
I'm good. I don't have only assistant principals today, so.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, great.
Congratulations to 3 of them.
Okay, let me continue. So C-301, C-709, C-1001, C-1002, C-1003, C-1005, C-1101. And we will now begin the discussion agenda. We'll start with 301, the Memorandum of Understanding between the School Board of Hillsborough County Schools, Florida, and Cornerstone Family Ministries to operate VPK class at Morgan Woods Elementary. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is the purpose of this MOU is a renewal agreement between Hillsborough County Public Schools and Cornerstone Family Ministries to provide VPK services at Morgan Woods Elementary School. Once again, this was originated and approved on June 15, 2021 in a year-long partnership to be able to gain access to more students within our community, and at the same token be able to identify and highlight a public-private partnership where community and educators are really working together to be able to help school readiness. In this particular agreement, this is an opportunity for us to be able to continue to create a pathway of our students to be able to gain accessibility to them under our umbrella with this private partnership at Morgan Woods. And we know that Morgan Woods currently sits at a 54% readiness level related to kindergarten students transitioning in. When we look at this partnership, this is a continuation of last year's contract with all the financials the same, at the same token the service is the same. One of the reasons that I as superintendent did not bring to expand this initiative with additional settings or additional classrooms is because last year Cornerstone had a late start, and they were able to recruit around 8 students to be able to gain access to the service. We want to make certain that we implement this in a proper manner to have proper marketing, and at the same token being able to fill a classroom and demonstrate competence. One thing I will highlight, mid-year baseline data has been provided from Cornerstone at the number of students that have been involved in this process. They've shown a 67% increase from the baseline to the mid-year on all 4 facets of the baseline and mid-year assessment. That's really seeing a movement from 17% proficient to 83, and that's really looking at print knowledge, phonemic awareness, oral language, at the same time mathematics. So this is a partnership that continues to be able to identify how we strengthen educational pathways, continue to increase readiness for our students, improve VPK transfer from VPK to our kindergarten classrooms in our brick and mortar managed schools, and really focus on advancing student achievement within our organization.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion and a second to approve item C-301. I have a motion by Member Hahn and a second by Member Washington. Okay, and I pulled this item, and I just want to talk about, Superintendent Davis, I really appreciate all the innovation that we're doing with workforce development, and I also know we really need to be innovative with pre-K and VPK, because we know that by age 5, 85% of the brain is developed that way, and for a child. So it's really, really important that we continue to expand pre-K and VPK, and as well as working in the workforce development. My question is, we are using an outside company, Cornerstone Ministries, and they're coming in, and I know they've done a good job with their 7 students, and we didn't charge facility usage. And so I very rarely get an opportunity to talk to school board members because of the Sunshine Law. I can't really speak to people. And so I think, as my background as a lifelong educator, and I've owned several businesses, I've owned consulting, tutoring centers, I've been in education my entire life. My question is, why are we not piloting that same program, because that teacher is not certified? Why are we not piloting our own Hillsborough County Public Schools pre-K program? I'd like to see that. And obviously, I always want a certified teacher, because we know we all want certified teachers, but there's a shortage throughout our nation with teachers. And if that pre-K certified teacher wants to stay there, great. If they want to move on to grade 2 or 3, that's fine as well. But why are we not using our own facility to expand pre-K? Because that's going to be best for the children. We know they have a connection to the kindergarten teacher. We already pay the electricity, the room, but we're outsourcing that and allowing a private entity to come in. And I'm going to support this because I'm going to vote for it, because I think it's done well. But my question is, I'd like to see us being able to do that on our own. And I know the fiscal issue has been that way, but if we only service 7 to 8% of the preschool children in Hillsborough County, how many of those children are at home, maybe not getting that preschool? If we really want to make fundamental changes in this district, we need to start at the very early age and then loop out later on for the workforce development to give people an opportunity to make money and then security. So I would like to see us create our own pilot. When you talk about expanding that, why are we talking about another entity expanding that? Why are we not doing it in-house? So that's my question, that's my request. And so next, Member Gray.
Okay, so thanking our partner, Cornerstone Family Ministries, and agreeably, as other board members recognize that pre-K is critical and has long-lasting benefits. My only question, just like any outside agency partner, would be, and Superintendent Davis, perhaps you know the answer, I don't see Lewis Murphy, but how many times per semester a year will we, and I'm looking at page 4, will we absolutely look at the documents, the audits? In other words, how much accountability are we looking at this particular entity? If you could just share, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. We are always actively engaged with Cornerstone Ministries. They're on our campuses every single day and engaged through ongoing collaboration with professional development, making certain that our team members continue to have accessibility to help in any way related to scope and sequence and content, and then being able to look at their analytics, review their data sets to determine how much progression they are openly moving and making within this organization. So, they're always going to be a part on our campuses, a part of our accessibility to them, to really figure out how we can blend this relationship, gain access to our students at an earlier age, and at the same token, our parents as well.
So, my line of questioning will be fairly consistent as we move through some charter schools. The absolute evaluation, accountability, and oversight, it will become very, at least I'll speak for myself, very important. And you and I, on a one-to-one, can do a checkup. But I would like to, see the successes or hear the successes. And, the promise that this entity will give our children. The other question I had is, why are we doing 5 years? Can we not do a 3-year and then reevaluate, or is this just a blanket 5 years? I say this as the same I would the other schools that we're going to be questioning.
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, this is only a 1-year agreement. That we transition and move for 1 more year and duplicate this contract that we did last year. So just a 1-year agreement with Cornerstone to be able to move forward. And I think Cornerstone Ministries as well, they want to make sure this model is successful. So, we want to continue to take one step at a time before we have additional expansion with this model.
Okay, and thank you, Cornerstone, as well. Thank you very much, Superintendent Davis.
Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This was not in our original agenda. I think this was added afterwards, so I do have some questions about this one. In regards to the percentage, I appreciate that. So what we're saying is that our students who graduate from this VPK are showing more proficiency and being ready for on level when they enter kindergarten. I'm also seeing down here, if I'm reading this correctly, that what we're kind of the expected outcome is per VPK class, we're hoping to transition about 30 children into Morgan Woods each year. Am I understanding that correctly from the prospective outcomes?
I'm going to go to Ms. Brown to speak about this partnership.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Through the chair, our goal is to increase the number of students that come into our kindergarten classroom from our pre-K classrooms. Currently, we don't have boundaries for pre-K, so we are working really hard to attach our kids to their neighborhood schools as early as possible. So for us, we really would like to have at least 80% of our kids that enter our pre-K program at each site remain with us and go into our kindergarten classrooms. So whatever the number is that attends our pre-K classroom, our goal is for 80% of them at least, if not 100%. That's our optimal goal, but a minimum of 80% of them would enter into our kindergarten classrooms.
And so for this one, it said you're expected to have 38 by the fall of 22-23. 80% would be about 30 students is what it said in expected outcomes. So I just wanted to clarify that information. Thank you very much. I agree with both Member Combs and Member Gray as far as I would love more quarterly updates on this. I'm just curious if you were able to keep a classroom teacher in the classroom the entire year, or if there was any turnover or transition and what that looked like. And I love that we're partnering to offer more services to our little ones and get them towards our neighborhood schools, but I would like to see more of an effort to do that in-house as well. I mean, there was an article that just came out about Pinellas and how they're prioritizing early learning and, what a difference they expect that to make in their school system and their outcomes. And I really appreciate the partnership and people who are interested in helping us do that, but I agree that I would like to see us take ownership of that and find a way to do it in-house and prioritize it as well and learn whatever we can and share and pass on the knowledge. So I'm glad that this is for a year, so we get more opportunity to see more of the outcome and ask some more questions and see what this partnership looks like next year. Thank you.
Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Combs. I know that about the year before, and Member Gray and Snively can correct me on this, the year before I became a board member, there was the startup and expansion of the VPK programs. And that slowed down, obviously, due to COVID, but maybe we could get some numbers on the expansion starting maybe 4 to 5 years ago, because I know that they've expanded greatly. So I don't want anyone to think that this is the first time we've been talking about expansion. So that might be good for just historical knowledge. I just want to correct something for the record, Mr. Superintendent. Do our partners pay for facility usage for this program?
Through the chair, they pay for utility, janitorial, and custodial supplies.
And they don't pay a monthly Didn't they pay a monthly, like $15,000 a month? They don't. Okay. Do we have some partners that use our facilities that pay nothing, including the 3 things you just mentioned?
Yes, ma'am. We do have partners in the organization.
I know I asked for that list, but we'll get it next time. Okay, so the other thing too is, you know, I want to get up there and actually visit. It's not in my district; it's in Member Combs' district, but it is an innovative program. So it'd be great if you want to kind of see it in action, to take a drive up there and put your eyes on it. I know I plan to do that. I'm excited to do that. I wanted them to kind of, you know, get up and go running and then go and visit. You know, USF graduates a cohort of early childhood teachers that are certified to teach VPK. We don't have a lot of them in Hillsborough County because, you know, they go to other places that probably do have more classrooms and opportunity to be hired. But I do agree with Member Combs that you know, and many of my other members that have spoken before me, that we need to expand our VPK programs and at the same time build partnerships with our higher education partners, you know, not just USF, but, you know, St. Pete College and a lot of different St. Leo's. They are developing or they have existing early childhood programs where teachers are coming out certified to teach VPK. They really want to teach VPK, but they can't find a job to teach VPK, so they're teaching in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, which is great. We need them there too. But, you know, for a lot of those teachers, they come out certified and they do want to teach in our program. So I think, you know, as we expand, we should also kind of look at those partnerships and work with building a pipeline for those teachers. But otherwise, you know, I'm going to support this tonight. I know that recruitment's been tough. COVID's played a role in that. We even have difficult times when our programs are just starting out to recruit. Marketing is a key in that, but also just making the community aware that this new program is in existence. So, you know, I wish you luck, and I'm looking forward to visiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. And just one last question or comment. Are you, and I don't want to put you on the spot right now, Superintendent Davis, but are we looking at, could you possibly look at a pilot program that's similar to this that Hillsborough County Public Schools will run? Because we know that a lot of federal money is starting to come down for universal pre-K, and we're hearing that. I want to be ready. So if we're allowing this, and I hear you talking about the expansion of Cornerstone Ministries, what about at least trying a pilot program for us to see what kind of expansion we can have with the same kind of qualifications that they're having? I guess that's my first question. And then my second comment is, do you have other programs that are there every day as we are, as Cornerstone has, that doesn't charge a facility usage? And what are having that free room, I guess that free facility usage, what would the cost be if we were charging facility usage as we do with other programs? So I mean, I guess it's several questions.
Yep.
You don't have to answer them all, but if you can think about that.
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair. The first one, as Dr. Hahn said, the expansion did happen prior to my arrival related to VPK. The board took an aggressive stance, and one of the things when I interviewed, that was, you know, one of the biggest priorities about what are we going to do as an organization, as a superintendent, to expand, you know, VPK, early childhood, working with the Early Learning Coalition, and really working with the Children's Board to really help our students be successful. I do believe that Hillsborough County has done a really nice job expanding seats and initiatives and programs and really looking at dollars to maximize it, to make that a reality. There have been some challenges financially, but we have, in the last 2 years, but we have expanded seats for our students, and we'll continue to do so, especially in our blended VPK programs. As relates to the decision for the board prior to transition to a certified instructor, I think we all would want that to happen for students every single day. However, we can definitely look and determine whether it's a pilot process that we want to implement, do a side-by-side comparison, and in order for us to be able to move forward. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, because that I can only speak for myself as a board member, but I would like to see that, especially since right now Hillsborough County is only serving 7 to 8% of the VPK students, and we know that universal pre-K is viable. And then my second question, how much of a facility usage would we receive to have that for a total year? And I don't know if you and Mr. Farkas, I think last time we estimated it in the
yes. Through the chair, I'll start. The first one was we estimated to be around $28,000 to $30,000. I believe, and that was cut in half. $14,000 being able to that Cornerstone took, and we had goodwill for that partnership, and we want to make certain we have public-private partnerships, and this is one of them to be able to help with this. And I'll transition to Ms. Brown for the other side.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Through the chair, Madam Chair, we are working with the Early Learning Coalition on a project this summer to work with our students who are in the child development program in our high schools. We're going to recruit them, give them an externship and experience in our pre-K program that's running this summer so that they have the actual experience. That will be one step toward working with our students who are trying to become educators in our pre-K program. So we're working currently with the coalition, with Abby Perez and Lisette Godwin, along with Dr. Andrea Beverly with our workforce. So we are in the process of working on something.
Okay, thank you so much, because I just want to make sure that a year from now when you come, we can actually compare both programs to see where the growth is, where the strength is. I just don't want to see a huge expansion of this private when we could possibly do it in-house. So I'm just requesting that, and obviously that's something that's real important to me. Thank you so much. Member Hahn?
Thank you. So I'm glad you mentioned the universal VPK. I had a call this week earlier with our lobbyists in D.C. And unfortunately, that money is tied to a bill that is not going to probably get approved through the House or the Senate, so it's going to die. So I think, as you know, obviously Ms. Davis can fill the superintendent in on that, but I don't think, unfortunately, that's going to be a viable option for financing our expansion at this time. But I do think there are very creative ways to earmark dollars to do that, both at the other federal grants and at the state level. You know, I'm not going to get into a big conversation right now about teacher certification. I feel pretty strongly about having the highest quality teachers in front of our students, especially our youngest learners, but that's for another day. In regard to expanding, you know, I want to see that happen. We serve, I believe, 12% of the population right now. And so, you know, the more that we can serve. And I'd also like to know, have you all been doing any professional development with our VPK teachers and the Cornerstone teachers? Because I think that where the gap lies is that so many of our youngest students are being educated in VPKs outside the system, some very high quality, but the more we can align our teachers in the public and private sector so that we're all preparing them for the same standards coming into kindergarten, I think we'll be able to move the needle on kindergarten readiness.
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, through the chair. We are currently having communities of practice that are facilitated by a consultant that works with the Kahn Foundation, that work through the Kahn Foundation, that's funded through the Kahn Foundation, where we're also using a common curriculum. They both are currently using, not only are our students using World of Wonders, they are also using Waterford. And so that's a common curriculum that we're also using. So there are opportunities for these two teachers to engage, for the teams to engage and work together, collaborate to ensure that there's consistency. Will they have different strategies? Absolutely. But there is that common time that they spend together growing and learning from each other.
I appreciate that. And I think, you know, obviously it takes time to expand programs. And what would be really nice is, while we're obviously focusing on expansion, again, I think it's that aligning what's happening in the private sector with our standards and our expectations for kindergarten readiness. And maybe we can look for some innovative partnerships and financial resources through ELC or the Children's Board to start those professional development programs now. So maybe if we could invite some of our private partner teachers and have, you know, one of our early childhood partners pay for them to attend the workshops with our teachers, we could create these communities of practices that while we're expanding, we're shoring up those private providers to make sure that we're high quality across the board.
So there is a model. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
There is a model that we were using, that we were collaborating also with the Early Learning Coalition, that we connected with some of the transformation schools, where we partnered with the neighborhood private providers and the elementary school and had opportunities for professional growth, professional learning opportunities. That we did that a couple of years ago, and when COVID hit, we slowed things down a bit, but we would absolutely like to start that up again, where there is that connection between the private providers in the neighborhood and the local elementary schools, so that those teachers can work together, grow together, and connect those students in those private centers with their neighborhood schools early on.
And that's so important, because I don't think we're ever going to get to providing it to 100% of students. So that's why those community practices are so important to fill the gap. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Member Gray?
Yeah, I think a good idea. And by the way, Superintendent Davis and I, along with Candy Olson and Kelly Paris, we have an early learning group program that we are working on. And that's a great partnership. Betty Castor's part of it as well. So we do meet on that. We have some long tentacles in that department. But the point is the fact that we have so many, and you know the Early Learning Coalition, we have Patel. I mean, we've gone through so many different leaders of that coalition, and then they've gone through so many different business models. So I would think it's wise, Superintendent Davis, with the help of Ms. Brown, to do, and I don't want to use the word audit, but to have a list of every pre-K entity so that Member Combs and the rest of us can see what we do have. And I know we had an early learning workshop, and we did go over all the early learning avenues. But it would seem to me, from what I'm hearing, that we need a reminder of what we do have, so we know what we are, where we are at, so we know where we should go, and agreeable to Member Hahn and to Member Combs, because there is going to be monies. I hope it doesn't get failed. Stacy Hahn, Member Hahn, but hopefully we'll have monies, because that is a huge priority. So, with that being said, would that be agreeable to have a list, an audit of what we do have?
Yes, ma'am, to the chair. We have that available, and we'll make sure I'll send that in a follow-up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Okay. 709, approve the proposed proportionate share development mitigation agreement for Sherwood Phase 3C. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Sorry, I don't have this item in front of me.
Okay, yes. I'll do 1001, approve the contract renewal for Henderson Hammock Charter School. Superintendent Davis?
As he gets ready to do that, I'll just remind the board you have several renewals of charter schools in front of you tonight. And I want to remind you that charter schools are a creature of Florida statutes, and the Florida statutes govern how you approve, deny, terminate, and renew or not renew. If you need to base your decision tonight on the Florida statutes, and the way, and I want to read to you just so everyone's clear on the record of what the criteria are for this. And so if you choose to non-renew, you must base it on a criteria in the Florida statutes. And those criteria are, number one, failure to participate in the state's education accountability system. Number two, failure to meet generally accepted standards of fiscal management. Number three, material violation of law. Or number four, other good cause shown. Those are the statutory reasons that you must demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence if you choose to not renew. And that goes for all the ones that are on your agenda tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Porter. Let's go ahead and we'll continue with 1001. I need a motion and a second to approve item C, 1001. I have a motion by Member Washington, and I have a second by Member Snively. Any discussion for 1001? Okay. Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Member Combs. You know, I just kind of wanted to have a conversation about, before we approve these charter schools, because as Mr. Porter has pointed out, we have very small amount of leeway in approving or denying these charter school renewals. And I appreciate all of the students and teachers who came to speak on behalf of the charter schools, because Unfortunately, as board members, we get a lot of emails from a lot of frustrated parents who are in charter schools and are having frustrating experiences, and they're kind of pleading with the board to intervene and feel like unless there's something done at the site, at the actual charter school site, they're kind of helpless with some of their concerns. In fact, I kind of pulled up an email from a parent who wrote us in June, who was very outraged by some of the conversations we were having in charter schools in June, and wrote us a very strong letter about parental choice and supporting charter schools. And then in January, wrote a subsequent letter stating that their child's ESE services were not being met there, and they were having a horrible time, and they had made a mistake about charter schools, and to please intervene and help as much as we can. And I know that we've sent this letter on to Cinzia, and she does as much as she can, but I just want to clarify that, you know, some of the challenges when we're up here talking about charter schools, or if we have issues with them, aren't aimed at parents who make those choices, because you know, we all want to be able to give our kids access to what we feel is the best education, or hardworking employees who are in those schools, or, you know, the administrators of those schools. You know, the frustration that I have when we have conversations about charter schools are, one, accountability, not being able to go in when there are parents who are frustrated or concerned and be able to help those parents or address that, because we have almost no accountability when it comes to charter schools, as well as just oversaturation. I mean, we're seeing challenges because, and we've talked about this legislatively, one of our asks is, as a board, has been identifying where charter schools are going to go beforehand before we approve them, because they're oversaturating neighborhoods and competing with themselves. So, you know, I just wanted to make it clear as we have these conversations, you know, some of the concerns, obviously, you know, we would have to make a really good case to deny these, or, you know, kind of do a protest vote. But these are the concerns that I have as we discuss charter schools going forward. So I just want to kind of bring up those points so people understand, you know, if I'm voting no for a charter school, or any of my colleagues are, it's not because we're against parental choice or parents or students in the school. It's really just because we want to be able to provide a level of accountability and make sure that all students are thriving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member
When I gave my legal advice, I jumped the gun on the superintendent. He has not done his actual highlight yet. Okay. So I was waiting for him to get ready for that. So before you get into the discussion, it'll probably...
Okay, great. Superintendent Davis, please highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is a contract renewal for Henderson Hammock Charter Schools. This is originated in 2012 and also had a renewal back in 2017. Openly, this school is currently a B school. We are looking for we have agreed on a 5-year renewal process. Openly, they serve around 1,100 students. Started in 2012 with 650 students, and they impact openly Canella, Bellamy, Smith Middle, and Davidson.
Okay. Thank you, Superintendent Davis. Member Snively?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Although I respect the opinion of my esteemed colleague, Member Vaughn, I would like to point out a few things that we probably don't see eye to eye on, and I will say that I do disagree with some of the things that you stated. I feel very, you know, I'm sorry that that particular parent had the negative experience, or whatever the experience they had that made them feel like they made the wrong choice for that school. But you know, they may not have made the wrong choice for their child for charter school. They just may have made the wrong choice for school, that particular school. And that happens sometimes in our situation, where we have children in the traditional public school, and maybe a school for that particular child is not the right fit. We've all gotten phone calls where we've had children, parents of children asking, could we move from this traditional public school to that traditional public school because they think it's a better fit. So I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that, you know, sometimes it's not just it's not charter schools altogether. It's just maybe a particular school that we want to make sure is the right fit for our students. So I understand what you're trying to say, but I wanted to make sure that it's very clear that charter schools are a part of our public school system, and they are very helpful in a lot of different ways for students that may not feel that the mainstream, or the parents of students that may not feel like the mainstream traditional public school is the right choice for them. And there are a lot of wonderful services that charter schools offer, and there is a lot of accountability at charter school. Is it a different level of accountability? Some would argue that it's about the same level of accountability in a different way. Are the rules exactly the same as traditional public schools? No, and I think we should continue to advocate for a more equal playing field in some areas with regard to charter schools versus public schools. So, but I would disagree that there's, that there's a lot less accountability. I think there is accountability. It might look a little different in charter schools than it does traditional public schools, and there are a lot of great charter schools out there that are doing some wonderful things. And it is, the opportunity for parents to choose a different setting, a different academic path for that child that may have different needs, a special circumstance that may require the resources that are available at a charter school. So I'm just going to put that out there just because I didn't want people to think that charter schools or all charter schools are created equally, and they're not. Just like all traditional public schools are not created equally either. We try to get to a point where they do provide equal education for all of our students, and we're going to continue to advocate to get to that place. So hopefully we can do that together, and we can bring more collaboration between the traditional public schools and our charter schools. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Member Lively. Member Gray.
While we're just bringing this up, and I know we had a book of, Member Snyder, what was the name of that book that we had to do the why? Remember we had a book that we all had to read?
Start with Why by Simon Sinek.
Yeah. So, when I ask questions, I'll just speak for myself as an individual board member, the reason I'll ask questions about various charter schools is not because I'm going to automatically deny them because Florida statute, but I'll tell you why the public and every one of us needs to realize, and I'll have to read this from script, and I apologize, but the fiscal reality is pretty severe. And here it is. The charter school's actual enrollment this fiscal year was 2021-22 was around 34,000, rounding up 39,000 students. They are projecting for next fiscal year, an increase of enrollment of 5,000 more students, thus from 34,000 for this year, it will go to 40,000 during the year 2022 to 23. Now, the point is that equals, and this is just a projection, which I have received from Ms. Johnson, that equals a potential funding loss to our public schools of $30 million. So when I ask questions, I have a lot of concern about our own fiscal ability to take care of our own public schools. Secondly, the reason I will say a few things tonight on other schools, not because they're not doing a great job, but the promise that's happening from House Bill 0225, or what they're saying, their position statement, will allow charter schools to consolidate into one entity. For example, CSA, Charter School Associates, Charter School USA, Academica, they may have a slew of up to 3 to 5 charter schools, and it will come to us as one. So what we're dealing with is a bill, if it gets passed, and there's many bills, and I won't go through them all, but there is a severe cost to our district, and also saturation, good word, Member Vaughn, because now we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and again, there's some mighty, mighty fine public schools. Some of them have dual language, and such as Waterset, our new Waterset will probably have dual language, and the existing one that's a charter school does not. So, I mean, we can go ahead and go on, but I think my time is up because Madam Chair is going to get the hook, so I'm done. See, I can be finished.
Thank you. Member Vaughn?
Thank you. I'll try to keep my comments brief. I appreciate the dialogue from my esteemed colleague as well, Member Snively, in regards to the thought process. And I think that's good to clear up the word accountability because it can be subjective. So my concerns when I use the word accountability are a private board versus this public entity. As I mentioned, when I get emails from parents who are very concerned about what's going on in the charter school, I can't respond to that. I can't escalate it. I can't investigate it. That's a private board that manages that school and makes that decision, so they don't have the ability to escalate it the same way. Also, I don't know if the same level of scrutiny from the financial aspect is there. I mean, we've talked about some of these schools where, you know, the executives have taken ridiculous vacations or have box seats because, again, when you have a private board, there's not as much, and I'll use the word, you know, in this way, accountability to make sure that they're not making profit off the students that are enrolled there and using that to, you know, make sure that the people on their boards or the leaders of those schools are able to mismanage those funds. And those are my concerns. I understand that under statute they are public schools, but whenever you have, you know, public tax dollars going towards anything that has a private board that makes decisions out of the sunshine, that we all are held to the level of sunshine, it makes me have concerns about being able to intervene or help or support or make sure that our students have the best academic outcome. So I want to kind of just clarify what I mean when I talk about accountability. So I'll end there, and I appreciate the time to speak.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. And I'm just going to make a couple comments because, you know, as someone who's been in education and who's had their own business, I think the parents deserve that choice. They should choose what they'd like to do. I represent Hillsborough County Public Schools as far as being the chair of the school board. So I am representing all the schools, but I want to make sure that when a child goes through a charter school, and some charter schools are wonderful, but maybe that child's making straight A's and they're below level and there's not a lot of accountability. By the time the parent finds out, it's too late for the child's life. So for me, I'm trying to advocate for all students, and I want to make sure that the same accountability, the same oversight, that being ranked 46 in this country, there should not be a penny going into someone's pocket. It should be going back into the school. So that's my concern, is when we end up having 3 charter schools separately and then they consolidate because they get all this money, and that's taxpayer money. So that's taxpayer money that's being spent to go into someone's pocket, not into a child. At the end of the day, I care about every child in Hillsborough County. I want to make sure that the same accountability, the same oversight is here. I could clearly see the speakers that came in today at one of the charter schools. The students seemed great. It's an A school. It seems like that's thriving. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue when a charter school is not doing well and then they close and reopen under a different name and that child's life is destroyed. That is my concern. And we are here. I'm not on the board of Charter USA. I'm on the board of Hillsborough County Public Schools. So I'm going to advocate for our schools, and I'm going to make sure that every child is accountable for, because that's what it's about. It's about money to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's about that child. So we'll go ahead and vote on that. Okay, so please vote when your lights appear for 1001, which is the Henderson Hammock Charter School. And that passes unanimously. We'll go ahead and continue with the charter schools and then go back to 709. We'll move on to 1002, which is approval of the contract renewal for Waterset Charter School. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is approval for renewal of Waterset Charter School located in Apollo Beach. They originated in 2017 and opened with around 779 students. Today they have over 1,100 students that they serve from K to 8th grade. They are rated as an A school. They impact schools as Apollo Beach, Dobie, and Eisenhower Middle School. Openly, they have hit all satisfactory related to the review. The only areas we ask for them to continue to improve on is to continue to make certain that they document ELL meetings properly with times, make certain that Tier 3 interventions with literacy, and making certain that they can continue to meet all the requirements related to reporting. Other than that, they meet the criteria and they're A-rated school.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion and a second to approve item 1002. I have a motion by Member Snively. I have a second by Member Washington. Any discussion? Member Gray?
Yes, I just had a few questions, Superintendent Davis, or maybe Dr. DeLange, whichever the case may be. So we're projecting, I believe it's 1,150 students. And out of those students, what percentage are ELL, English Language Learners? And I say this because South County, South Shore area, Apollo Beach, it's where I went to school, East Bay, a lot of Hispanic, heavy population there. What is the percentage? Do we have an idea? I was looking. Is it Cinzia? Sorry.
Ms. DeLange?
Dr. DeLange. Dr. DeLange?
Can you hear me? Yes. Waterset Charter School in this school year has 2.8% of ELL students.
Okay, and when we talk about ELL students, 2.8%, and they are touting, great leadership programs, and to me, it's an A school. I actually was at the school. It's a great school. And the only comment is, and this will be a continual concern of mine, when you deal with a population of the sameness, what we're not having is diversity. And to me, in my mind, diversity is, I would say, and we have the principle right here, a great goal to aspire to in every sense of the word. I also want to know what's the percentage of black students also.
Sure. The demographics look like the following: black 16.2%, white 41.8%, Hispanic 31.2%, and other 10.8%.
Okay, so they have a hefty Hispanic and a 2.8 ELL, and that satisfies, my curiosity, and I thank you for that. I also would say this, in the principles here, that you should put a dual language in there, so those 2.8 kids can really thrive. Just saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Hahn?
Thank you. Can we add to these renewal reviews, or when we have a renewal, add it to the document? I mean, I know we could get it from the charter school office, but just for the public to see, can we add a chart for demographics and also to include in that the ELL and ESE populations?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Okay, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Next is 1003, approve the contract renewal and consolidation approval of Kids Community College Southeast Middle Charter Schools and Kids Community College Charter School Southeast. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is a approval for a consolidation of Kids Community College Southeast Middle Charter School along with Kids Community College Charter School Southeast Innovation. We know that the middle school opened up in 2017, being able to serve, close to, over 400 students. Currently, the elementary was also opened in 2012. They served over 200 students. These are properties that are adjacent. They want to bring both of these properties together. They'll serve around 600 students. Currently, the middle school has identified an accountability grade to the state of Florida as a C, and the elementary is identified as a B school. So just bringing this consolidation from a K through 8 and being able to, and they will take on the grade of the majority of the students, which would be their middle school.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second, to approve item C 1003. I have a motion by Member Snively and a second by Member Washington. And I pulled this item. The only thing that I wanted to mention is the consolidation. What happens is you have these schools coming in and they get anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million of your taxpayer money to open up separately, and then they each pay 5% administrative fee. And then what happens is we turn around And after a few years, they come in and they consolidate. So they have all your taxpayer money in 3 separate entities, and then you consolidate together, and instead of paying the 15%, each of them would pay 5%, they consolidate, and then they only pay that 5% administrative fee. So I think it's really important for voters to know that when they're paying for 3 different schools, and we are still trying to have oversight, and suddenly we're only getting 5% of that 15%. Is that correct, Superintendent Davis? Is that what happens with the consolidation with that?
When 2 schools consolidate into one charter, then it becomes one site, and that one site we will take a 5% administrative fee from that. Unless they become high performing, then it's a 2%.
Is that what you see often? These charter schools are coming separately. There's a high school, then there's a middle school. And I mean, I'm seeing that very often, even with the last few schools. You're seeing them coming separately, and then I'm seeing a lot of consolidation. And how much money are you losing with that? Like for a school where you have 15%, where you would have, and you don't have to give me that amount right now. I'm just wondering how much money the district is losing and how difficult it is for us to have that oversight when all of a sudden our administrative fees have gone from 15% to 5%.
It is common practice for charter schools to open first one school and then another one. They do receive, they have to apply the competitive grant called the Charter School Program Grant, and if they receive it, they use those funds separately if they're opening 2 separate schools or at different times. And then once one charter is up, and they're usually the schools are very close to one another or in the same building, and then they consolidate into one site number.
Okay. And do you think that impacts how effectively you can service students or be an oversight when you've gone from 15% to 5%? How does that impact your program or your oversight?
Frankly, I mean, it impacts our general fund because we're bringing in less administrative money. But as far as the charter office operation is that accounts for it, it doesn't really impact it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Member Gray, and we'll probably just have a few minutes because we want to make sure we start with employee input on time.
Okay. I first want to thank Ms. Bays and Dr. DeLange also for really checking in on the schools and asking those questions. And I recognize that has been done. Superintendent Davis, just for your edification. My questions are as follows. How many schools did KCC have in the past? Because we've gone through elementary, K through 8. There's a history of schools. Can you answer that, Dr. DeLange?
Yes, ma'am. We had 4 KCCs, and just in June, the past year, we consolidated 2 other KCC schools into one, and these 2 will be consolidated into another one, so we will end up with 2 kids community colleges, 2 schools, 2 site numbers.
Okay, and consolidation for all of us intellectually makes sense because it does, bring together the resources. But one of the reasons for the consolidation is because they had a C on the elementary, and then they had a higher success rate on the middle. So consolidating would make their overall score higher, which is, in my belief system, that makes sense for motivation. If they have IB programs, International Baccalaureate, why? My question out loud would be, why are their grades not higher? Because that should lift the grades. I know that that's a big high point of their conversation. You don't have to remark on that unless you want to, but that's just a curious question.
Sure. I do remember when they did receive the D, the middle school, it was because of math proficiency scores. So they knew exactly what to target in order to increase their school grade.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Also, there is a bill, Senate bill coming out, and it amends the Florida statute, which I used to memorize, 1002.33. But one of the things that we'll all be looking for, or we should, it says an agreement that a charter may be canceled if the school has not made insufficient progress. So, I mean, I'll be looking at that too, because as Member Snively said, we want to make sure that the playing field has an equivalency of public schools. And that is, you know, they're looking at extending the Florida statute right now. Also, we want to make sure that Kids Community, or like any of the charter schools, have a discipline, the ability to resolve conflicts, the tier 1, 2, and 3. You know, those are real standards that guarantee the safety of our students. I don't see that in all the paperwork that I have. Do you want to remark on that? Their discipline, their plan, that's a conduct code. I mean, I'm reading it right from this statute here.
You mean what kind of discipline program they have? I can't remember the name off of my...
No. I don't expect you to, but I'm saying the expectations is that I'd like to have that in front of us, because again, we have to have consistent expectations, accountability, and you know this, as our public schools. So, and the other last one is the idea of certification of the principals and the teachers. Are we playing and comparing the same levels? That's going to be important, along with, as Member Hahn said, the demographics. Thank you.
Can I answer that?
Please do.
That's part of the review process, is the certification. So we have our certification department that actually goes to the school and looks at their personnel files to make sure everything is in check. So that's part of our comprehensive review. And they do, their certification process is the same as our district teachers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. DeLing. Member Snively, if we could just wait and have employee input, if you don't mind, if we can wait for that, for your last comments. 3 minutes? Okay, go ahead. I'll give you, go ahead, and then we'll just vote and move on. Okay.
Now, just for continuity of the conversation, I
just
ask for 3 minutes, please.
You
Thank
could,
you, Chair.
You could have people want to respond to that, but whatever you say.
Well, we'll wait and see. I guess we'll have to wait. Ms. Gray says she's done speaking, so. Okay, TikTok. Here we go. I appreciate all the board member comments about the particular admin fees. I did have a question about administrative fees, and I think it's important for people to understand what administrative fees cover. What services are we providing to charter schools when they pay an administrative fee? If you don't have to be exact, but just list some examples, perhaps.
Sure. It covers all the charter office accountability practices that we have overseeing ESC services. We're seeing ELL. The site visits, the support. They call in every day with IT support. I mean, it's a wide variety of services that we provide that is necessary for a smooth operation of a school.
So there is some accountability.
Absolutely, yeah.
About that. That 5% is based on what amount? Is it the same for every school? Is it based on the number of students?
So on a regular non-high performing high school, we take 5% of the first 250 students. So if two schools consolidate, it still remains 250 students.
And then after that?
The only difference that would happen is if the school becomes a high performing, then we dip down to 2%.
And are there some times where we require schools to start separately because we want to see what kind of performance occurs before we consolidate? For example, in the case of KCC?
Sometimes they just open at different times, and at times charter schools open at the same time. 2 charter schools open at the same time. So I see it both ways happen within the landscape.
Sure, because sometimes what comes recommended to the board is that they don't start a K-8, they start through a K-5, and then they move to a K-8, and then they move to a K-12. And so I just want to make that clear too, that sometimes we make the recommendation as the superintendent will make the recommendation to the board that schools start separately, and then they end up consolidating together. So it's not always just because they want to bypass the administrative fee, which, by the way, some of the services continue to wane from our school district. But my point is that I think we need to do more to work collaboratively with our charter schools to find out what their needs are. I don't think we communicate very well with the charter schools. I think we should work together and not be as competitive as it seems between charter schools and traditional public schools. And I haven't seen that in the last couple of years, and COVID may have impacted that, and new administration as well. But what I am getting feedback from the charter school leadership is that they're feeling that there is a lack of communication between the school district and the leadership between the charter schools and our school district. And so I would like to see more collaboration amongst the leaders. Have you been to the charter school leadership meetings before, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Okay. Do you go to each of them?
I try to go as many as I can.
Okay. So I would encourage you to continue keeping that doorway of communication open between you and the charter schools, and make sure that we're listening, because they do pay an administrative fee, and it can be a pretty penny, and we do want to make sure that they're getting the resources that they are rightfully that they should get. I don't know why that word just kind of escaped my, because I have 30 seconds left. And they're entitled to. Thank you, entitled to. So with that, I just wanted to clarify some of the things about what has been said by other board members about consolidation and administrative fees. So thank you for allowing me to speak in 12 seconds left.
Thank you, Member Snively. See, I would have gone after you on that one, but I won't. I'm just kidding. Employee comment, okay. Okay, yes. Oh, yes, we need to vote. Okay. Please vote when your lights appear. Okay, and it passes 6 yeses and 1 no, and that was Member Vaughn. Next, we'll go to the employee comment. We'll now take employee input. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees of our district to attend meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees to make their voices heard, including through union representatives, emails, phone calls, one-to-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we're creating another avenue for employees to speak to the board. We're setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issues that are on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job or the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. I will now call up the first speaker. Please state your name.
Hey, good evening. Rob Crete, CTA. Good to be here again tonight. Thank you. It looks like you guys are asking the difficult questions of charter schools. We appreciate that. I mean, charter schools are really at the forefront of the evisceration of our public schools here in Florida. So asking these questions, I think, is a good start. I mean, is that 5% administrative fee covering all of the work that we're doing? Do we still have to dip into general funds to pay for them to help meet their needs of those students, which are a fraction of our public school students? We need to make sure that our public school students are being served as well. And quite frankly, it's becoming increasingly more difficult. Even today, I got a phone call from a career educator, and it breaks my heart to hear that she's leaving the field. I mean, it's things that are happening in our state and around that are that we can't control, and some things that we cannot. But it's becoming too often that I'm getting calls about people that are leaving our field, great people that are helpful for our kids and our communities because they've had enough. It's just too hard of a job. I don't know what the answer is there. I just know that you guys get those calls and emails as well. We have to do something here locally. We sure hope that when we get to the table tomorrow at bargaining that we could settle this, that you guys have rectified and come up with a plan that we could actually work with so that way we can get into the greater work and the real important work, which is meeting these needs of these kids and at these schools. We have to do something. And if it means that you guys have executive session and talk about what can be done that doesn't cost dollars, how can we relieve some of this pressure that's happening at our schools? Because the pressure is real. The classroom feels it. Okay, I don't know how we actually affect that, but we have to stop that pressure that's coming down where every single thing that teachers are doing, they feel that like they're not doing enough because it's becoming more difficult. They don't have the time, they don't have the resources, and they are truly, truly struggling. So I'm asking for your help in all of that and think about what we could do outside of even the monetary things, which I surely, once again, hope that we could settle sooner than later, starting tomorrow at the table, to really make this place better for our kids and our communities. So thank you for the questions that you're asking and for your continued work.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening to Heidi Glick, Alonzo High School, to our elected school board members and to our current superintendent, as well as all of the people in the growing population who watch our school board meetings. I'm here as many meetings as possible because things are just not right here. They just aren't. You know, every day when we wake up, we make choices, and we have the opportunity to do all kinds of things. We can do things that are right, and we can do things that are wrong. Each and every one of you sitting up there right now has an opportunity to do the right thing. You have the ability to instruct your negotiating team for tomorrow's meeting with the Hillsborough Classroom Teachers Association to settle the contract. You have the ability to do the right thing for over 15,000 families, not just people, families. Instruct your bargaining team to settle this contract that is long overdue. Find a way to finally do what should have automatically happened in July, a step movement for all of our teachers, and truly deserved raises for your loyal employees who show up and do the job every single day, inside and outside of the classroom. We've been here for the children, for the parents, through a pandemic that we still have, through sickness, and through whatever else is thrown at us. We go above, and we go above and beyond, and we do it every single day. So no more empty promises, no more empty accolades. Instruct them, you're in charge, to do what they need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final speaker today.
Hi, I'm Carissa Denica from Gaither High School. Before your representatives show up at bargaining tomorrow, I want you to think about the next day. So not tomorrow, but the next day. How many classrooms are going to be without a teacher because they've just had enough? If we aren't valuable enough to pay the amount posted on your website based on years of experience, what do you expect to happen? I know of at least 10 teachers leaving this week. I know of at least 10 more who are looking at higher paying jobs. I don't know if you guys have read anything, but do you know the FBI is asking educators to join them? We know how to quickly learn and adapt to new info and break it down to communicate to others. This quality also works for teaching medical devices to doctors and nurses. And then obviously, instructional design. The people that we pay for our textbooks are wanting our teachers. Teachers are amazing, and we have cultivated these skills to help our students grow. The district has the obligation to keep their teachers, and that means being paid adequately and their time respected. Without teachers, there are no schools. I'll close you with this from a personal aspect. This year, my Algebra 2 students, these are kids that they're Algebra 1, they didn't take an Algebra 1 EOC because of quarantine, and geometry was done through e-learning or in person from last year. a third of them came in without having met their math benchmark. So that's their algebra graduation benchmark. Today, we're down to just 1/10 of them. I've gotten more thank yous from my students and my parents this year than ever before. Students need us to be there. But we can't be there if we can't pay our bills, if we can't take care of our families. Tell your representatives, Mr. Superintendent, pay us what you said that you would. And with retro. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have several items remaining for today. We will move to 10:05, which is the contract renewal approval for Florida Autism Center of Excellence. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. This is a renewal for Florida Autism Center of Excellence. This was originated in 2007. Openly, they have been identified in 2017, 2018. They were identified as unsatisfactory. However, they changed leadership. They changed the entire board, and they moved from unsatisfactory on the Florida standards alternative assessment to maintaining. There's 3 phases in alternative Florida assessment, which is a school improvement rating. They do not get a school grade, and in their school improvement rating, they either can get commendable, maintaining, or unsatisfactory, and they've improved the process from declining in 11-12, and they've transitioned to 18-19 to be identified as maintaining. They serve 143 students on this campus. This is, once again, a 5-year renewal.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second, to approve item C 1005. I have a motion by Member Snively, and I have a second by Member Hahn. Any discussion? Member Vaughn?
Thank you, Chairwoman. I wanted to kind of double back because I know we kind of got cut off at our last conversation. And to Member Snively's point, I just wanted to reiterate because we touched on it a bit, and she said Wayne when she talked about the administration fee, but we've made this very clear at a workshop. That administration fee is an unfunded mandate, correct?
You get it, Jinsey.
Did you say an unfunded?
For the most part, we still end up paying, as Mr. Crete said, additional expenses to offer all of those services. The percentage fee, especially when it's a high performing and it goes down to 2%, is unfunded. Is that correct?
Yes, and even the 5% is only on the first, the 250 students.
Which essentially means that we're offering services to those charter schools and not being reimbursed for those through the administration fee. Is that correct?
You can look at it that way.
Okay, thank you. I do want to say I think there is one thing that Member Snively and I agree on when it comes to this conversation, is that we do need to work more collaboratively with our charter schools. I've said this before, charter schools were originally created to be a think tank so they could bring best practices of things they were able to do that we might not be able to have the luxury to do, to come to our public school district so we could incorporate those best practices and be successful. So I do agree. I'm not saying, Chinsia, that there's anything on your end or our charter school office isn't doing. I know some charter schools that I've talked to are more receptive and eager to partner and willing to do that than other ones are. And I think that we should identify the ones that are looking for that partnership and start that dialogue if we're not already having them about best practices so we can incorporate those. So that's just kind of wrapping up the previous conversation. In regard to this one specifically, Superintendent Davis, I'm disappointed to see that one of our only charter schools serving our kids on the spectrum, are some of our most vulnerable students, went from such a low grade to simply maintaining. This is a challenge for me voting on this in general because I want to make sure we have schools that support our students on the spectrum and our high needs students that may not be able to get the services in other schools. But to see that, there's been some problems in the school and now they're maintaining, I'd really like to see it go towards what was the highest accomplishment that they could get?
Commendable.
Commendable for the students in our schools. Do you think that, is there any way to forecast coming up or to see, because I know you said that's kind of based on another assessment that gives them that status. Are we able to see in any way if they might be able to lift that into a higher category?
Yes, ma'am, through the chair. We can look at their baseline and mid-year data because they have to have progress monitoring like everyone else. And I can share that with the board right now. As their last time they took their accountability with maintaining, they're around 34%. And in that maintaining is between 49% and 26% in that maintaining category. And they have to be able to improve to a 50% overall total possible points to be able to get to the commendable rating. They've made significant gains over the last couple of years, but we'll be able to, I'll get that mid-year data to show the board, and then we can start looking at a predictor. I wish there was a true predictor, then we would use it internally.
Yeah, these are all students on access.
Right, Jay?
Yes, sir. These are all students on access points, and I also want to add that there is a new statute or policy at the DOE level that allows an ESE center on all access points that has earned 2 consecutive maintaining SIR ratings to be considered high performing.
Oh, okay. That's not positive news. All right. Well, if we could, going forward, can we get some information on the school specifically and figure out forecasting what it's going to look like as far as their ability to serve our students? Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is, when we talk about autism, an example of a school, a charter school that is, that does take care of those students that we perhaps could not take care of as well in a normal public school setting. So that's a good thing. That's a plus. Just as we know, Pepin also does an excellent job. However, this school is not doing an excellent job, and we discussed this. It's yes, it is maintaining, Member Vaughn, but it's gone through many principals, or a few principals. However, I am convinced, because you and I have talked, that this principal is definitely digging deep and trying to make that huge difference. It is hard to run a school of ESE students. It is really, I mean, I've never done it, but I have had plenty of years where ESE students are in the classroom, so I can only imagine. My only question is, because it is maintaining, how well, and do we, all right, let me give one question. How well are these teachers, these instructors, and the principal trained for this type of child with the high needs autism? And Dr. DeLange, I'm just sharing that question with you.
Sure, yes, ma'am. They have intensive and regular ABA training, conducted one-on-one support of each classroom with an assigned registered behavior technician and small group and large group settings. They have crisis intervention training via safety care model, and all staff is required to complete safety care as condition of employment. They currently, let's see, that is pertaining to curriculum. They have academic instructional training on use of various curricular supports to include iReady unique learning systems and other News to You programs, and that is conducted in whole group, small group, and one-on-one as needed. They also have...
Dr. DeLange, you can hold, I mean, I've read all that,
yes,
but I'm asking you.
Yes.
And this is kind of like a question out to us, for all of us to think about. How well are these teachers trained? You know, I think that's something that I'd like Ms. Bays to check on and get back to me as an individual, just because these are children of special needs. And I think, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I did read all of the literature. The only other question I have, are we testing enough of these students to really know the success rate or the not success rate? And
that's a great question, Ms. Gray. In fact, part of the non-SIR-rated grade of an I, that was part of the issue, is that the former principals were not able to test enough students to get that grade. So since this new principal has entered the landscape, he's now in his second year. He has completely turned around the culture of the school. He is retaining teachers that are experts in their field. So the change is very tangible for even an external person visiting the school.
Thank you, Dr. DeLange. That ends my questions.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Superintendent, when we have, I know I'm an employer, you are too, and there's several other board members who have businesses. When we have a employee who just maintains, we want to see something better for our business, and hopes that, that they would be more successful than just maintaining. So the same with our schools, with our students. We want more for them than just a facility that just maintains. How long do we keep allowing a school to just maintain? When do we just, move them forward to either, successful or commendable? How long do we give them before we decide that just maintaining is not good enough? Because they've been maintaining since 2017 to 2018.
In 18-19, they received a maintaining.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was their first year out of the I.
Mm-hmm.
And as you see, prior to that, there was no SIR rating because they weren't testing enough students. Our hope is that they will either they get a commendable, of course. However, I have to say that the DOE has changed this rating, and as you can see in the history of the school, there was a declining and improving rating. That no longer exists at the DOE level. There are only 3 areas, and that is what the superintendent shared with you. So maintaining is the middle.
And through the chair, so the answer to the question is maintaining is deemed to be satisfactory as outlined by the Department of Education in the school improvement rating. We'll continue to make certain they have ongoing professional development. We'll get that list for you, Ms. Gray, individually, what they've done this calendar year and how we continue to be a support factor for them. But I do agree with the transition to moving to commendable. And I think it's all going to make certain they hit the 80% threshold of they have to be able to assess with the school improvement rating, which is very different from ours. We have a much higher percentage that we have to hit as an organization outside of that, taking the accountability grades. But I do believe through conversations with staff that the new principal is moving in the celebration is retention and providing ongoing services to be successful with a new board.
So, but how long? How?
So through the chair, they can stay maintaining as identified through the state for 5 years in a row. And in our recommendation would still be the same for a renewal if they came with us 5 years in a row. They have to move from 34% on their accountability system to 50. So they got 16 percentage points they have to be able to move, and that's all looking at concentration of looking at the access points assessments, looking at the FSA assessments, EOC assessments, and part of their other matrix that they get for that rating system.
So they still have time. They still have
yes, ma'am.
That window. Okay, that's what I needed.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Vaughn?
Thank you. I just have a quick question. Since you said that ABA therapy is part of the curriculum, is that optional for parents? Because in the autism community, ABA therapy is being identified as not best practices, and is also being identified as potentially abusive depending on how it's presented. So is that an optional thing for the parents that they can opt out of that therapy and still attend that school, or is that mandatory for every child that attends that school?
I'm going to ask for help on this. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, can you get back to me on that? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. No further comments. Please vote when your lights appear.
709. 709.
And it passes unanimously. We'll go back up to 709, which is approve the proposed proportionate share development mitigation agreement for Sherwood Phase 3C. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your flexibility, being able for us to locate this in my notebook. 709 is all about the Sherwood Phase 3 making certain we have the share mitigation agreement. This is a school concurrency program, and is really designed to make certain that we have adequate student stations in place for our students in under constructed areas with a 3-year of new residential. So being able to make certain that here there is currently not enough available space for 2 middle school students, at the same token 3 high school students in the area for Shields Middle School and also Leonard High School, due to the fact the attendance boundary or any adjacent concurrency service area. So what this does is this agreement really demands that developer pay for $174,000 to the school district, $61,000 for the middle school students, and brings $113,000 to the high school students. This mitigation agreement is contingent upon 2 approvals. The first approval is a development agreement with Lennar Homes, LLC, in Hillsborough County to construct transportation facilities required to support the proposed schools for Les Wake Drive and also the association for the prop share mitigation. And the second improvement is required to the associated rezoning application for the construction of the elementary, middle school, and high school outlined by the prop share mitigation agreement as well. So for us, we just want to make certain that we bring this to the board and do our due diligence and improve this process, but knowing it still has to be approved by the Board of County Commission, which allows us to move forward. And we're just being proactive with this solution.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion and a second to approve item C709. I have a motion by Member Hahn, and I have a second by Member Gray. Is there any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. And we'll go to our final item this evening, which is 1101, 2022 District and School-Based Instructional Culture Survey. Superintendent Davis will highlight this item.
Yes, ma'am. Through the chair, this is an expansion agreement for technical services to expand the new teacher project Insight Cultural Survey. Last year, we surveyed all of our teachers or individuals that had roster students, really to be able to look and identify how we are doing with professional development, looking at academic opportunities, looking at observations and feedback, peer culture, leadership, diversity, equity, inclusion, how we implement the evaluation system, at the same token looking at our overall learning environment. This information was used during our Summer Principal Institute to be able to identify best practices and for principals to reflect on how they can bring their staff together to make proactive solutions. One of the things that we heard, and we've had multiple conversations with TNTP, that this ultimate climate survey was really not lent to for other individuals who service children who do not have rosters. They could not take the assessment, because what it allowed us to do is to compare us to national norms. And we did identify that all the domains that we were assessed, we were performing better than the national norm. What this does this year and through this expansion is that we are now have an opportunity to really survey everyone in our school district to get a better pulse of how we can improve the experience for children. And so this is my recommendation to bring to the board, and we will be using E-rate rebate money to be able to pay for this particular expenditure.
Thank you, Superintendent Davis. I need a motion, a second to approve item C1101. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Vaughn. Member Vaughn pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Member Chair. It's Chairwoman Combs. It's a long day for all of us, right? First of all, I want to thank Mr. McCauley for getting with us and meeting and showing us the data from the other surveys. It was really helpful to go in and be able to see what that looks like. One of the reasons I pulled this is because I'm a data queen. I love surveys and as much information, and I want the public to know that we are doing our due diligence and that we're expanding it, as Superintendent Davis said, to non-instructional staff to make sure we're getting feedback about the culture and climate in our schools. But also, I just wanted to encourage our employees to actually utilize this, kind of get this on their radar. I can't remember exactly what the fulfillment rate was for how many of our staff members. 72. So I'd love to get that up to 100, right? Because we need as much feedback as we can possibly get. It is optional. Thank you very much. But just because it's optional doesn't mean that you shouldn't take advantage of it, because this is a really good tool for us to do a deep dive into our schools and get data from people who are actually in the schools about the culture and climate and leadership and things that they'd like to see improved or things that they'd like to celebrate. So I just wanted to highlight that. Thank you for your team for getting me the information and just hopefully get our staff to make sure that they engage in this. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. We'll now move on to superintendent comments. Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Also, on the last survey, we also have included families for this year as well, which is really important to get 360 accountability feedback so we can continue to improve everything that we do for our students. Tonight, we want to be able to provide district updates and celebrations of what's going on within Hillsborough County, to share legislative updates and highlights as well. Review consent agenda items that we approved this evening that have positive impact on our students, and then review any sales tax referendum expenditures that continue to allow us to address deferred maintenance, and then highlight our suspended agenda items. So overall, one of our district highlights and updates, it touches every goal within our school district related to our strategic plan. And the first one we want to recognize is that the National Magnet Schools of Merit Award winners for the 21-22 school year, we had a district record with 25 of our schools being recognized for excellence or distinction honors, 10 being able to hit the district record once again for excellent winners. And these are all individuals that have to be able to prove competence with high academic standards, innovation with curriculum, how they actively engage their communities, looking at having diverse efforts and really leadership efforts to be able to have and grow leaders with not only with their students but also with their staff as well. Every one of these schools had to go on to defend and reflect their magnet implementation, provide ongoing growth data, and at the same token showcase their events and demonstrate how they've had outreach to be able to grow their programs and keep purity as they move forward. So celebration to all the schools for this great accomplishment. Continue to set records, and we thank you for our Magnet Choice Office, who continue to make certain that our kids have great pathways to be successful inside and outside of our classrooms. Also, we've also had through Kim Bay's shop and related to workforce development, we're trying to be able to build Tampa's tomorrow. And in that, having a multi-phase approach for workforce development. I do agree this evening we've had a conversation about being able to expand pre-K on the front end, but also really focusing on preparing our students for Tampa's tomorrow. We see that we will expand a number of medical academy for W.D. Walters, having that 9th through 12th grade, being able to bring construction, because as we know right now in the Tampa region, we are continuing to be a environment that is growing, developing, and having new structures going up. So preparing our workforce to not only have the skill set and the mindset, but being able to go to work immediately as they transition during school and after school for apprenticeships and also jobs. And at the same token, being able to transition a Brewster to have that medical technical college and have that 9th grade through adult opportunity as well for our community. We could and can make and will make a medical academy that is a state-of-the-art and also a model for the state of Florida along with construction. So what we've done over the last couple of weeks is truly had our practitioners come in, some of our corporations and companies and our unions coming in to really identify best practices. They are really not only from the construction side, who've been great think partners, and these are presidents, vice presidents, CEOs at the table with our team members. It also bring in higher education, at the same token medical experts to identify facility needs, equipment needs, job needs, materials, all to make certain that we have the right experience for our students and for our community. We also will be able to create 40 for the future. This is job opportunity vignettes. We will be able to have 40 videos about some of the jobs currently being offered within our community, so students can have a better background knowledge of what to transition to. So we continue to have next steps. We'll continue to make certain we engage our community, make certain that we have partner tours, and at the same token be able to look for phase 4. As we know, the I-4 corridor continues to be a distribution opportunity with logistics, distribution, and manufacturing, and making certain that we offer that as we move forward. And I will engage the board very soon about what phase 4 looks like. So, Ms. Bays, anything you want to highlight here?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. I just want to share that the excitement and the enthusiasm generated by our partners, the civic leaders, the medical, the construction, and our partners in higher education is just through the roof. They're wanting to meet every single Friday. They're meeting more. We're planning our field trips. So their input is really terrific. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you to you and your team. Also, we want to identify the industry certification success. Hillsborough County led the state of Florida, and we recently identified for generating over 1,400 FTE for the 2021 school year, which is the largest amount in the state of Florida. If you look at the 3-year trend, we're really focusing on making certain that our students are actively engaged in industry certifications, and we went from $4.3 million of generating funding to $6.2, and that is significant. Over 8,000 of our middle and high school students are academically engaged in these types of opportunities, and over 13,000 industry certifications was obtained. And this is additional funding for our schools. 80% of the $6.2 million is required to go back to the schools, and that way they can incentivize teachers for success rates, being able to expand their curriculum, expand their resources, and then 20% allows us to be able to expand our initiatives, are being able to retrofit some of our current initiatives in using the knowledge of our teachers and our advisory boards and our community to be able to elevate all of these experiences later. So hats off to our school district for once again leading the state of Florida in the 2021 school year. Hats off to our teachers as well. Also want to recognize where we are for Hillsborough K-12 virtual. One of the things when I came in, we identified this administration, we were leaving around $10 to $13 million on the table with only having 300 students involved in Hillsborough Virtual. So after rebranding, refranchising, you can see that over a 3-year trend, we are moving the needle related to the number of full-time and part-time courses completed. We right now currently sit at over 18,000 courses completed, and we are projected to have 35,000 courses completed. That means dollars being brought back to Hillsborough County Public Schools. And at the same token, being able to use and leverage Hillsborough Virtual K-12 Plus, which is an opportunity for students to remediate their courses. And we see that once again, we are estimated to have an increase from last year, over 2,000 potential completers of our students being able to take additional courses to remediate grades, to have the necessary GPA to graduate and also be successful inside and outside of our school district. And then, as one of our speakers identified, one of our school counselors, this week is National School Counselors Week. They do so much to be able to design and implement counseling programs that promote academics, career, and emotional success for all of our students. Our school counselors recognize and respond to the needs of our mental health services and promote social emotional wellness and development for every one of our students within our schools. They continue to go over and beyond, and we just thank them for not only delivering short-term counseling and intervention, but setting up long-term supports for our families and for our students. So recognize this week for your hard work and your dedication. And then also legislative updates. The school board, we got a chance to take a field trip to Tallahassee. Thank those who could attend and be able to know. We school board members went, I went, lobbyists, governmental affairs, journey to Tallahassee, really to be able to advocate for our local state priorities. We met with over 30 legislators, some very interesting conversations, proactive conversations to really not only fight for more additional funding for on the BSA, but more flexibility with funding, and at the same token being able to fight for increased salaries for our teachers and to have really equity related to school district managed schools and charter impact, and really fight for early learning dollars and workforce development, all linked to funding. So thank you for the board for going. It was a great opportunity to engage. And as we look at this recently in the legislative, both the Senate and the House have released their current budgets related to their categoricals with basic student allocation, school safety, mental health, early career technical teacher salary appropriations, student transportations, and given the total per pupil student funding for the House and the Senate related to the governor's initial recommendation. We know that this has a number of weeks that this will develop. The only thing I'll say about the current Senate is that they did raise the BSA to $239. However, they did compact language saying that $239 would be inclusive of addressing the $15 minimum wage requirements, and they're mandated that goes into effect on January 1st of 2023. If we did the calculations for Hillsborough County related to the Senate, that's around $44 million it would bring to our school district. For us to have a 4-year window of transition to 2025 for the $15 an hour, it's going to cost us $45 million, which leaves us only $1 million of accessible funding to be able to properly incentivize and serve our children. So just want to bring that to the forefront. It's a part now, so I would say continue to contact your legislators for additional funding. The House set up $150 on the BSA. They had no additional funding for a categorical for minimum wage, meaning those dollars would have to come out of our current first pupil funding if it's not a categorical moving forward. So we'll continue to be an advocate and keep you posted as this transitions, but this has weeks to be able to develop as policies in the forefront now. Also, a very important House proposal is coming front, putting parents first adjustment categorical. This is a new categorical in the FEFP, and this adjustment will really penalize 12 school districts for a $200 million penalty for those who elected to implement a mask mandate at the beginning of the school year. Openly, you see all the 12 school districts identified by Alpha, and this comes up to close to $194 million. And Hillsborough County would have to suffer $14 million. I have to say that any legislative body that would take money from students, I openly is concerning to me as administrator. We'll continue to be an advocate for our students in Hillsborough County. We'll continue to work with FADS to be able to take a stance and openly, for us to continue to fight to make certain that our school district receives the $8,000 minimum that the state, the Senate, the House, and the governor has proposed, and not to be negatively impacted in this process. Once again, we'll continue to make certain we follow this appropriation and continue to make certain that we fight for all of our dollars as we need it to be able to serve children. And then also consent agenda. Tonight we had a number of our students from 501 to 505 going on throughout the state and throughout this nation to be able to compete and to have great experiences. From Hillsborough High School Key Club, Plant City Band, Chamberlain being able to go to visit historically black colleges and university tours, to Sickles being able to visit TV National Convention to learn more about to improve their experiences, and then also AVID programs at Marin, and there will be transition to have school visits at University of North Florida and Jacksonville University. Go Dolphins! I got my master's degree. And then, so hats off to them for being proactive to be able to expose to different experiences outside of Hillsborough to be able to help them identify pathways for their future. And then 602, this is an expansion of rocketry simulators for spring break and summer camps. Hats off to Larry Plank. This is once again one of the only school districts in the state of Florida that received ODEA grants and CAT Science Lab grants because his leadership. He continues to expand this. This is $191,000 that we will use for grant funding to expand from 44 schools to 58 schools and to expand this initiative to allow our children to be exposed to STEM opportunities. And Mr. Plank and his division continue to lead this work, and hats off for their efforts. And then also thanks to our community once again for their trust and transparency. With giving us additional funding for deferred maintenance. We see Durant Robinson Elementary, Robinson High School, and Broward Elementary School being able to come on board for final acceptance this evening. And the executive steering committee does a really good job making certain they look at every dollar and every cent and prioritizing our school. And to date, we've invested over $315 million in our schools that really allow our students to have the best structure available to be able to compete inside and outside of our classrooms. And then finally, suspended agenda for growth management. As you know, Shields Middle School continues to increase related to the number of students enrolled. We have over 1,800 students at Shields Middle School. It's our largest middle school within our district. We have to continue to expand to modulars. We know that that's not the most attractive way to be able to serve students, but we have to be able to serve our students properly on this particular middle school. And we are really working with our leadership to explore modifications to the daily schedule to be able to reduce the 1,800 students is a lot of students on a property, to reduce travel time and have more time, potentially having more time with an A-B schedule configuration within our classrooms to serve them better in a more efficient fashion. Then also Sumner High School, over 3,400 students are at this school. Once again, we'll have to expand modules as well. And then adding we're adding a classroom wing of 600 student stations, which will launch in January 2023. As we know, the middle school seats will be converted into high school. As we launched this, we had a 6th grade session, and they moved up. No longer will have middle school, but we'll still continue to have over 3,400 students at this particular school. And then an update on Collins. We have approved an expansion of 500 student stations. We have plan development approved by the BOCC. We thank you for that collaboration. We have an approved boundary changes and also being able to make certain that we will open this in August of 2023. And then Waterset pre-K through 8th grade. We will be adding 1,800 new stations. If you haven't walked through, driven by that facility, it is massive. It is beautiful. We will bring the information tomorrow, be readily available for the board individually for packets for all the naming and all the recommendations for you to use. This will be an IB magnet choice selection, and we will open up with pre-K through 7th grade of August 2022. And Mrs. Leonard is doing a wonderful job in that recruiting in that process. And finally, with we talk about mid and long-term planning efforts, the district attendance boundary, we sent that RFP out on December the 10th. We look at vendor presentations were held on January 27th, and we plan to bring the final recommendation to the board on March 22 and 22 to be able to move this initiative to have a better understanding of all of our boundaries within our school district, which haven't been looked at in many, many years, and we get a chance to look at scale versus in particular regions. And then the Westlake property, we purchased over 100 acres located in South County. There's a traffic study currently completed, and the good thing here is the tri-party developers agreement are under negotiations where everyone's at the table trying to identify the right steps for movement. And this is a plan to have an elementary, middle, and high school all on the same campus to be able to move forward. A tentative date of May of 2022 for the BOCC. And then also we're looking at 9 properties that we're looking to acquire, and which are located all in the South County, as we have to be able to build 18 schools in the next 15 years, 15 schools in the South County region. Thank you. I know there's a lot, but a lot of information to share.
Thank you. Very, very insightful and helpful. Thank you. Board comments. We will now move into board comments. Board members, just a reminder, you'll have 5 minutes each to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Member Perez, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So yesterday I had a real incredible conversation with the community, parents and teachers regarding the mental health, gauging the mental health of the district, our and our parents, and I received really great feedback regarding ongoing concerns having to do with our students' mental health. And also this morning, a few of our board members and myself, we were up bright and early. As a matter of fact, we beat the sun up with Thaddeus O'Neill, and we were on Good Morning America and ABC with the Oscars nomination special. And he highlighted one of our students. It's Courtney Anderson, a 14-year-old 8th grader, track sensation, high honor roll, rising star. And it was really incredible to see a lot of our staff here from the district, all, bright and smiley faces. And, I didn't think everybody woke up that early in the morning smiling, but everybody did. And it was just neat. It was neat to be able to be part of that this morning. And also, right after that, me and the superintendent had to rush across town because also another one of our students, Anya Patel, she's going to be highlighted at the Lightning game on April 10th. She's one of our incredible students also. She's going to be highlighted at the Lightning game for the work that she's done in our schools and throughout our community. So we have some incredible students here in Hillsborough County Schools doing some amazing stuff. And also, I want to talk really quick about how the House, the Senate, even our governor is targeting funding for our mental health. It's demonstrating how significantly the lens and the focus is a high priority on the mental health at this time. And I want to thank our Superintendent Addison for making it a priority here in Hillsborough County. I know a lot of schools, a lot of districts are not, but as the 7th largest district in the nation, we are prioritizing the mental health of our students, and we have been for several years, before even it became a priority nationwide. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank this board also for coming to the task and also prioritizing our students' mental wellness and also that of our teachers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Gray?
Not yet. So first off, we had, and I'm going to say we, Superintendent Davis, but Member Washington had a great time with and Member Combs and Member Vaughn. Did I miss him? Yeah. And Mr. Connor. All right, let me just go around the room. Mr. Connor. And I said Superintendent Davis. But at any rate, we had an extremely powerful reception for the Black History kickoff for the month. And I'm going to let Member Washington go more into depth, but I do want to say that the Thurgood Marshall Club from the African American Task Force, that award was also given, and Sheikh, if you would, when you get your turn, please share. And I'm going to go ahead and rattle off great things that are happening with Black History Month. First off, we have the Black History Month door display. Thanks, Henry Washington. That is your son. He's in charge of that. We have the celebration of African American achievements through art. And thank you, Carol Vick, for making this happen. I know there's also other players involved. And then we have the Southern Cuisine Food Truck Day. I can't wait. Mr. B's Meals are going to have a showing. I think it's on, Tuesday, February 22nd. So if we can get Superintendent Davis to eat anything different, hopefully he'll eat Mr. B's foods. And by the way, this vendor, Mr. B's, really does a lot for our students in free food. Next, we have the Black History West Central Avenue walking tour, February 17th, and that will be curated by none other, Mr. Fred Hearns, who is just one of the iconic historians, also who was really in charge, and correct me if I'm not correct, of the reception we had at the History Center. His agenda and all the details that went into it were just marvelous. So, and thank you, Mr. Fred Hearns, wherever you are, and I bet you're watching this because sometimes you do check on things. Also, we're talking health and wellness, and I would be remiss if I didn't thank also Angela Fullwood. She is going to have, and Pablo, can you get that, that one slide up there? Just because I don't want to miss word there. No, not that one. The next one. Aha. Yeah. So Black health and wellness, we want to make sure that our African American educators, the students, such as and actually Titus O'Neill yesterday, really revolve around keeping the population, all of us, healthy mentally. Thank you. Also, Member Perez, for carrying that message, but also physically. This one helps the other, and they work together, not separately. So Angela Fullwood would be training many of our Black leaders also in terms of walking and making sure that she has natural paths, herbalist education, birth workers, midwives. She has all kinds of educational outreach. So thank you, Angela Fullwood. Also want to thank, we're going to have, I haven't thanked board members yet because they haven't come yet, but we're going to have our fitness training, the last session this Saturday at Slide Middle School. It's going to be on resistance training. Then, Member Combs, can you go ahead and give out my stopwatches? Yes. So we have, and Van Ayers is hiding back there, but not really. We have the Race for Education, Superintendent Davis, and every one of us is going to get a stopwatch. Where's Member Snively hiding? We're going to get a stopwatch, and we're going to make sure that we have some type of measurement of, let us say, where we're at and how we can improve. But the Race for Education is on April 2nd, and it really is to really give our students a good role model example of wellness, and it's the great equalizer. Sports and art are one of the two most great equalizers through all the demographics. So it looks like my time is up. How did it go so fast? It always does.
I tried to give you a 1 minute countdown.
Oh, is that a 1 minute? Do I still?
No, you're done now.
Oh, I'm done. How did that happen? Okay, done. Good night.
You can take one of my minutes at the end. No. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The way to take control of the board meeting. That's right. First of all, I want to talk about the Black History reception. It was phenomenal. Had quite a few people there. We had Attorney Benjamin Crump, who was the keynote speaker. Boy, he did a great job because, he's a civil rights and criminal justice issues about African American face today. The problem that African American faces with the Justice Department. And he gave a phenomenal speech. But I also was enthused. I was enthused by Miss Dr. Bernard Lafayette. Now, I was enthused by him because he's a Tiger. He went to Milton High School. He's a 1958 graduate of George Schroeder Milton High School. And very unbelievable, a remarkable guy, taught all in many universities. He was a civil rights leader. He was with Martin Luther King and so forth. So he's really an ally of mine. And I realized that he was a Milton graduate, but I didn't know what year, so I had to find out what year. So it was 1958. But we all had a great time. I'd like to thank the board members and Terry and the superintendent for coming out. We really had a great time. Moving on, Pablo, let's move on to Shauna Burks. Now, this is really unique. I got a call from a student from Steinbrenner. So he goes, Mr. Washington, he said, I want to help you out in your area. So I go, okay, what we have? And he said, I want to read, get some students from Steinbrenner, and we want to read to the students from Potter, Edison, and James. I say, hey, you got it. Let's go for it. So in honor, recognition, and celebration of Black History Month, Steinbrenner High School Black Student Union Club will join forces and read virtually to James Elementary, Potter Elementary, and Ellison students ranging from pre-K, Head Start to 5th grade during the month of February. The books will be focused on bravery and major accomplishment of many African Americans, both past and present. And thank you all. I really appreciate that. And Miss Shauna Burks was the person in charge of it. So thank you, Steinbrenner. I appreciate it, of the students. Last but not least, I have a history from, I'm going over in Plant City. Now, we don't talk about a famous black male in Plant City. His name is Jeremiah Bailey. Jeremiah Bailey is better known as Jerry, is a retired educator and founder of the Improvement League. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Festival is remembered as a man of sincerity, calm. He was active in all things in Plant City because he really cared. Nettie Drayton, the city manager, was quoted as saying that Mr. Bailey was able to bring attention to the city of Plant City, things that were needed within the African American community. and briefly here. Jerry served 10 years as president of the Improvement League in Plant City. Bailey and a few individuals founded the Plant City MLK Festival. It grew to be Hillsborough's largest with a focus on the principles of Dr. King. Plant City's Hillsborough County Community College African American Student Union established the Jeremiah Bailey Award in 1993. The award recognized individuals for their volunteer service to the community of Plant City. Congratulations, a great man, Mr. Jeremiah Bailey from Plant City. Last but not least, I also have another announcement. In the Black History Month, my son, along with Superintendent, Mr. Connor, we would have a Celebrate Black History door decorating contest. So we will be coming around every door in Velasco. We'll put you on the list. Every door, Rosyth, Velasco, we want to decorate it because we're going to come around and see who has the best door. And I may give out some prizes myself. I have some pretty good prizes there. We might think about that. But anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Member Vaughn?
Thank you. A lot of what I was going to say in the beginning has been echoed, or I'm echoing my fellow board members. I'd like to thank Fred Hearns for the invitation to, it was actually the first annual Black History Month reception. It's at the Tampa Bay History Center. It was amazing, as everyone has said today. If you haven't been to the Tampa Bay History Center, it's also a really great museum. And the speakers were phenomenal, especially Ben Crump, who repeated over and over again that Black history matters. Unfortunately, I've had a few parents reach out to me who said that they've spoken with teachers at their school who are actually currently afraid to teach Black history right now. So I just want to reiterate to our teachers and educators and staff members in our district, please don't have fear to teach Black history. It's integral, it's important, and we absolutely cannot erase that from our curriculum. I also wanted to open up an invitation to all of our educators who are doing something phenomenal in regards to Black history to please send it to me. I'd love to highlight it at another board meeting. So it sounds like we're going to, in a culmination, have a lot to share about how we're celebrating Black history. But I also wanted to talk about, I want to say thank you to Superintendent Davis. I thought your presentation tonight was great. I love how you highlighted our award-winning magnets. As we have conversations about our charter schools and some of the limitations we have with our traditional public schools, I'd love for people to check out our amazing magnet schools. Two of them I looked at myself, Moeller Elementary and Franklin, are great. They're all fantastic, so thank you for highlighting those. I also want to thank you for highlighting the legislative session that's happening right now and that we went to Tallahassee. In responding to some of the emails that we've gotten, I've asked people who have written in to please contact their legislation, and you'd be surprised how many people don't even know how to find their legislators. So if you go to the Florida House of Representatives or the Florida Senate, right on the front page, you can look up your representative, you put in your address, it takes you to who represents you. You can look at different committees. You can email or write or call those representatives, and you can even look at anything you're interested in. Education committees, see what bills are coming out and down the pipeline, because Superintendent Davis highlighted Hillsborough Virtual School and how amazing that is and how much revenue it's brought to our district. There's conversation and legislation to remove that so that we won't have that option, again, taking more money out of our budget. So we need everyone to be on guard about that. Also, tonight we did a really quick, a shout out to the vice principals who are being appointed or transferred. And I just wanted to mention Miss Gathers, who is at Greco Middle School. They're all fantastic, but Miss Gathers has been amazing there. Thank you for your service at Greco, and we're really going to miss you. So I hope Superintendent Davis has someone amazing to line up for that. And then finally, I just wanted to kind of point out, as Mr. Crete stood here and talked about ways that we can make sure that we're not just showing our staff members and our teachers how much we appreciate them by giving them their step increases, but also by relieving some of the pressure that comes along with teaching. I just wanted to reiterate that I had talked to Superintendent Davis and Mr. Connor about some of the optional testing. I know I had a lot of teachers and staff members who have reached out with concerns that some of the optional testing testing is not being presented as optional, and that we have reiterated that it is optional. So I just wanted to make that clear because I know there's some confusion about that in the district, because we're doing everything we can to support and take the workload off some of our teachers and staff. So that's kind of a wrap up of my thoughts. Again, thank you for celebrating National Counselors Week, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Member Hahn.
Thank you, Chair Combs. I was one of those board members who got up really early this morning. No bueno. However, it was worth it. It was worth it, and it was really wonderful to be a part of that experience and to see the faces of the students that were there, and just to hear, how they were so excited talking with each other about being on national television, being part of the Oscars excitement. I want to thank Thaddeus Bullard and the Bullard Family Foundation for inviting the school board, extending that invitation to our school board, our superintendent, and some of the staff. Certainly once in a lifetime for me. And, I also want to thank Thaddeus and his Bullard Family Foundation, because they always look to identify opportunities for our students that help them realize that there are no limits when it comes to their dreams. And this today was an example of that. It was certainly a fun day, but it was also an example that nothing is out of their reach, and that there are people in their life that are going to help them realize their dreams. So that was just kind of my takeaway from today, and it was very exciting, and thankful to be a part of that. Keeping in line with the SLY theme, I'm really excited because our next Early Childhood Literacy Fair is March 5th at Sly and Foster, just like we did last year. It is a drive-through event. And we have over a dozen, probably close to 20 partners: Feeding Tampa Bay, the Lightning, the Bucks. I'm going to announce all the partners at our next meeting. But the line last year went from Sly and Foster all the way out to the interstate. And we had to have the police come and direct traffic. And we had kind of talked to Chief Newman. I spoke to Chief Newman about setting that up ahead of time. So we were prepared, but the response was really amazing, and so I'm excited about that, and I'll bring more information at the next board meeting and share the flyer. The link for parents to register is going out now this week, and we we ask parents to register just so we have an idea of how many home libraries, because I create the home libraries through the generosity of private donations, and we hand those out along with all the other resources at the event. So I'll share something at every board meeting about that leading up to the event. I'm really excited about this Sunday. Yes, I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, but did you also know that it's the Young at Art? I like that, Young at Art. It's at Heart. Exhibition reception at the Tampa Museum of Art. I'm looking forward to attending that Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. and celebrating our students' art that's hanging at the Tampa Museum of Art. I'm a board member of the Tampa Museum of Art, so I'm excited about that. And for anyone out there who wants to see this art, it's going to be on exhibition. They're going to have an exhibition from January 15th to February 20th. And maybe if we're very lucky for our next board meeting at the end of the month, Mrs. Hobby can organize some of the art being shown here at the board meeting so we can share it during the meeting maybe, and that would be exciting for the students. So I encourage anyone and everyone to go out to the museum between now and February 20th and check out our students' art, and I think that's exciting for them. Other than that, everyone have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Member Snively?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple things. I wanted to make sure everyone was aware that the Florida State Fair is coming to town February 10th through the 21st. This is a great opportunity to enjoy some superstar entertainment, lots of exhibitions, including our students in 4-H and FFA, who love to demonstrate the animals and the agriculture that they've been working on. They also compete against each other, and the Florida State Fair Foundation also offers scholarships to students to pursue their careers and dreams when it comes to agricultural education. So there's food, fun, and it's a great time for the whole family. So get out there, get your tickets. Fair Day for our students is February the 18th, and that is a day off for students to go and enjoy the day at the fair, right? In the same vein, with Sheikh Washington, Mr. Washington, he read a little bit of history, and Member Perez did it last board meeting, because at the Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Breakfast last month, we were all educated at that breakfast with some nice note cards about different people who've made a difference. Specifically in the Plant City area, but their experiences and their contributions to society have really gone above and beyond Plant City as a ripple effect, I think. So this is about Sadie Gibbs Martin, so if you don't mind, I'd like to share a little bit about her. Sadie Gibbs Martin was a lifelong resident of Plant City, Florida, and attended the public schools of Hillsborough County. After graduating from Marshall High School, and it was a high school at first, before it was a middle school, she furthered her education and earned a Bachelor of Science degree from Bethune-Cookman College, and later received a Master of Arts degree from the University of South Florida. She gave her time, energy, and leadership to help Plant City grow. She served as city commissioner and was elected by the citizens of Plant City as mayor for 5 terms. She was mayor of Plant City. Commissioner Martin actively promoted inclusion of all citizens and paved the way for minorities to serve in governmental and leadership positions. From representing and fighting for the well-being of Florida's municipal governments to educating and inspiring the best in our youth, Commissioner Martin was a premier public servant. In addition to her political service, she was a dedicated educator, serving both principal and classroom teacher. She retired from our school system in 1992 after 33 years of service, the last years as principal of Knights Elementary School. And so she has many, many accomplishments in the community, and in grateful recognition for her many years of devoted service, the Plant City Commissioners have designated the City Commission meeting room as the Sadie Gibbs Martin Auditorium. She'll be remembered for many years for her public and community service. So in honor of Black History Month, I wanted to make sure that we learn a little bit about the people who've made a contribution and a difference in the many lives of our, not just our community members, but including our students here at Hillsborough County Public Schools. And with that, I think that is it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Member Snively. First, I just want to thank Superintendent Davis again for really being innovative and all the different ideas that you're bringing in for workforce development, as well as other areas, you and your entire cabinet. You know, as a school board member, one of the things we get to do so many amazing things out in the community, and going to see something with the Bullard Family Foundation, the way they supported Sly Middle School, and then obviously the Black History Month reception with Fred Hearns. At the end, I was able to meet 3 students that go to our schools, you know, James, Lafayette, Jeremiah, and their youngest brother. And James was an amazing celloist at the Black History reception. He's also the valedictorian at Blake High School. So that's just really amazing. And what I have found is when you go out to the community, you know, kids are looking for somebody to mentor them. Just last week, Mr. McCulley and Mr. Washington Jr. and myself, we attended an AMI Breaking Barriers workshop, and it was 17 young men who weren't successful in our schools who are at AMI, which is an amazing program. And one of the things that really resonated with me is they all said the same thing. They were really looking for somebody to mentor them, to coach them. They were looking for teachers. And as we open up more and more with COVID, I hope more people will come to the schools and more people will be there, because we really need to make sure that we continue lifting students and making them feel really good about themselves. And that's one thing, as people are looking out here, we really need to look at where this is going as far as testing in our state, and the concern for testing. Some children don't have that preschool experience, or maybe they don't have those mentors that they need in life. And when we're testing children from pre-K all the way to 12th grade, and we're testing students 3, 6, 9 times a year, it's better for parents to advocate now, before this legislative session is over, before it's too late, when they find out that a good portion of their day is being tested and then retested, and then how does a child feel about themselves, and what does that really do? Because that only measured a small part of a child. And along with that, I want to say, I feel like we do so much more than the academic. We do the academic, the social, the emotional, and even the physical part of a child. Just last week, or I think it was 2 weeks ago, there was a seatbelt wars. It was like a competition around the district of which high school had the most seatbelts. And Steinbrenner High School won with 100% compliance with their students. Along with that, we saw a lot of different artwork and public service announcements. So I wanted to highlight the talent of 2 students from Blake High School, Isabella Rosa Lamb and Logan Rowe, who created this amazing PSA that I'm about to share with you for 1 minute regarding seatbelts. But I wanted to thank the Sheriff's Office, Dr. Bellamy, who I met at AMI because he was there with Breaking Barriers, and he came all the way here to make sure that I could share this amazing PSA that these young students produced. I wanted to share with that, and I wanted to end with that to make sure that we know that the highest risk of students dying, or anybody from ages 1 to 52, is motor vehicle, and half of those individuals are not wearing seatbelts. So the importance of wearing seatbelts, and to continue, because if we start that habit at a very young age, we hope our students will wear them for the rest of their lives. So I'm going to share this wonderful little 54 PSA video that the students created. Pablo?
You take the time to protect your phone. You take the time to protect your laptop. You take the time to protect what's valuable to you. You know it costs more than tech. Your life. Buckle your seatbelt. Protect yourself.
Well, thank you, everybody, and this meeting is adjourned.